Welcome back guys, hope you're all doing great, and today in this course we are going to learn how to create a full stack fully functional video blog by using Reactjs, Chakra UI and by integrating Google Firestore storage and Google Firestore real-time database. We are going to learn all these technologies completely from the scratch. Even if you never used these techs before, I'm going to teach you everything completely from the scratch. Okay, so this project is all about the user can upload their videos and they can share with their friends so that they can able to watch it in online, they can download it, they can do all and much more functionalities in this project. So now allow me to explain this project much more deeply. So this project is having a nice login screen which allows us to log in with using Google Authentication provider. Once I click it, it will opens up the sign in screen, which allows me to log in with my Gmail account. So let me click my Gmail account. So that will takes me directly to the home screen of our website. So this is the nice UI which having the multiple video pins. When I hover it, I can see that video is running. So the user can able to just watch through what is they are going to learn, what they are going to watch in this video. Okay, and it's showing when it's lost, it gets uploaded, and who updated that video, all those functionalities. Okay, and if you have a look at it, it's having this nice toggle menu. If I click this, it will toggle into light mode and dark mode so that user can change it from light mode and dark mode instantly. Okay, and in the left side we're having the nice filter options along with this toggle tooltip option over here with this nice tooltip. If I click this, that will filters the details, and it will display the videos according to that particular category. If I choose apart from that anything else, let's say stories, currently it's showing this interactive not found window because there is no videos it's uploaded till now in that particular categories. That's why it's showing like this. So if the user clicks this create button, it allows the user to create and upload the video to the server with this nice text editor where they can give a nice description with more detail about the video. So let's say we'll create a video for the time being. So we say what we can say, new video testing. Okay, choose a category, let's say games, Doha. Click here to upload, choose any video. So let me choose this video, open it. So, and you can see that once I selected that video, it's having this nice loading and it's having this progress bar. So that, and still here also it's showing uploading. User can't click the upload button until it gets done. Once it's uploaded, user can able to see the video, what video is uploaded, and they can play and see the preview. If they wish to click here to delete it, it will be deleted. For instance, if I'm deleting it, see here, deleted, it's showing this nice alert message, your video was removed. And this is to just for typing some message. Let's say this is the testing video. So let me select it and make it bold, italic, and I can make it heading 1, and I can say something over content over here. So for the time being, let's say I'm just copy some content from the internet. Lower, I'll copy some content from here and then I'll paste it here. Okay, so after this, what are the technologies we are learning over here? I can make some bullet points. Firebase, we are learning Firebase, we are learning Reactjs, and we are learning the Chakra UI integration and all those things. So this is enough. Now let's click here and upload the same video. Once the video is uploaded, it will display the alert message for the video upload also, and this progress bar and everything will be done nicely by using Chakra UI because we are using the bytes transport, everything calculated from the Firebase. We are passing it, so it's working fine. So we got that alert message, your video is uploaded successfully, it's done. So video is getting loaded. Now if I click it, it will play. It's playing with the default controls, but for main video we're having our own controls and all those things. So now if I click this upload button, So it's uploading now, and look at that. Once the data is uploaded, it will upload it over here. New video testing a few seconds ago, and who uploaded that. And now if I click this, it will open that video in a complete detail with the customized video player options over here. So if I play it, it will play the sound. I can mute it, it's muted, and I can increase this volume, and I can decrease the volume. See, it's decreased and it's increased now. And even I can, if I pause for 10 seconds, it will move for 10 seconds. If I move back for 10 seconds, it will move back 10 seconds. And even I can seek through different timing. If I move it, that will be moved here. If I click here, it will move here. If I click here, and even I can make it full screen. Look at that. So all these functionalities are just done by using your React video player. That's what we are using. It's fully functional and customized video player. And look at the description, what we created in that description, how awesome it is. It's looking nice, right? And also it's displaying the suggestions, video suggestions. Apart from this particular title, you can see that it's showing the video suggestions, which is in the exact same category. And here it's showing this delete button. If the user who's currently logged in, and if the video uploaded by the user, it's both are same, then he can able to see this delete button. If the video is different and the user is different, he can't able to delete that post because he's not the owner of that post. So if I click this, it will show, are you sure you want to delete it? Once he click yes, it will be deleted. If I click this, that will be deleted and it will re-navigated to the home screen. If I click this free download option, user able to download this option. If I click this, that it will shows the download video directly. He can download it from the server. So these functions are directly implemented by using the Firebase and all those things. Okay, so here you can see that user is having this user profile. If I click this, he can able to see this my account and log out. If he click this my account, it will loads the all the videos whatever he created for that particular whatever the video he uploaded so far. And every time when you refresh, it will loads a nice background image which is running through the Unsplash data source, and it's having this nice UI. And if I change this, it's the light mode and dark mode will be toggled instantly. Okay, now, and this is completely responsive also. If I change this to responsiveness, if you check this responsiveness, look at that, how responsive it is. So this is completely responsive. User can able to watch all this site is completely responsive too. Okay, I hope you guys are so excited. So now, without wasting your time, so let's get started. Okay then, so now let's start creating this project. So first of all, what we need to do is to create a React application. So open up your command prompt and navigate to your desired folder location. So now let me navigate to the desktop, and here I'm going to create a new directory. So mkdir, make directory called video app -YouTube, enter, and let me move into that application. So that created that folder, and let me open it in the Visual Studio Code, and that will open my Visual Studio Code. Where it is? Oh, here it is. It's in my another screen. Cool. So this, we successfully created that folder, and let's open the terminal and create a new terminal, clear the screen, and here we are going to run the command to create the React application. So before starting this, you need to make sure that you have Node.js in your machine. If you don't have, go ahead their official website and download the recommended version for all the users and install it, and then come over here and run this command. So npx create react app // is nothing but we are going to create everything inside this folder. So press enter, and that will start installing all the recommended files for our React application. So it started to create a new React app, and it started to download. So this might take a while. So in the meanwhile, let's go ahead and create the Firebase application also. So to create a Firebase project, so go to the firebase.google.console.com. So I'll leave this link in the description box. Go ahead and click that link, open it, and click this, go to console. That will takes you to the Firebase console. And here, click this add new project and give a new project over here. So video app YouTube. Okay, so make sure that spell as a unique name. So this is the name of your project. You can use whatever name. You're free to use a different name for your project. So click continue. If you wish to have all the Google Analytics for this project, you can enable it. So I'm not going to enable this. So let me close it. Create project. So this will take nearly 5 to 15 seconds, or it will create that project. So it's going to done. And let me check what is the status of our, still it's loading. Okay, so it's successfully finishing up the project. Okay, it's done. So now click here, continue, and that will takes you to the that particular Firebase console. So here we are going to enable the Firestore Database and Firestore storage, and also the real-time database. Also later in future, if you wish to add anything to your real-time database, also you can enable it. And then we need to create a web app where we are going to configure all the necessary things. Okay, so first let's go ahead and create the Firestore database. Enable the Firestore database for our project. Click it, and that will load the Firestore database. I don't know why it's taking too long. Maybe it's because of this. It's loaded. So click create database. So this will open up. So here it will shows you two different mode, production mode and test mode. In this case, we are going to use the production mode itself. Test mode will be deactivated for within the next 30 days. So that will gives you all the permissions until this particular timestamp. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to change the rules and all those things. So click the production mode and click next, and choose their nearby Firebase cloud storage location. I'm going to leave it as it is. So then click enable. So this will take a few seconds or a minute. So please be patient until it gets done. It's setting up the security rules and all those things. So security rules, it's highly important to avoid hacking avoid unwanted access to your account. So first of all, you need to update your security rules. So go to the rules section. Okay, go to the rules section, and here it's showing read and write, it's false. So just change this to, for the time being, true. So that will allows us to read and write all the actions, whatever we need to do for this database. For this is not the highly secured rule, but this will make our work done to insert and update and all those things. So if you go ahead and go through their Firebase rules documentation, that will gives you all the necessary details what you want to learn about that. So let's go to the data back. So currently this data is empty, and let's move on to the Firebase storage. So currently the storage is empty, nothing is there. Let's go to the rules over here. So rules, it's also false over here. So let me change it to true. Save the changes. So that will be updated. So click here to go through their complete rules, structures and all those things. Click here and go. It will take you to their official website, and you can search and all those things. I'm going to create a new folder over here to save all the videos. So videos, and click add folder, because inside this folder only we are going to add all our videos for this project. Later, if you're having any images around all those things, we can create a new folder for images, and we can keep it separately in an organized way. So, and now what we need to do, go to the real-time database, and let's enable the real-time database also. Create database and click next, enable. So this will create the real-time database, and go to the rules. I'm not going to do anything with the database and all those things. So, but even though I need to update the rules and all, so for the just for a read, I'm going to change it to true, and write, I'm going to make it false. Later, if I'm using, I will change this permission over here. Okay, so now we all done, we enabled all these things, and last one more thing, we need to enable the authentication also. So go to the authentication and get started. Okay, so now authentication is enabled, so it will added the local host, and the all these domains are authorized to access all these authentication providers. So later I'll show you how to enable the Google authentication providers. For the time being, we just leave it as it is, and let's go to the project settings. And then here we have to click this, because we are going to create a Firebase web app, not Android and iOS. We are going to create a web app, create it, and give a name for it. I'm just going to use video app -yt, same. We'll worry about this Firebase hosting later. So click register app. So that will register our application. And this is our complete API keys and all the configurations for our project. So here we need to install this in our project. So let's go back to the console, and here we can access all these applications from here. Okay, so now let's get back to the VS Code, and now look at that, our project is successfully created. So if you have a look at this folder structure, it's having a bunch of CSS file and bunch of files in it, app.test.js, report, web vitals, and all those things. So we do as usually what we do for all the projects. So let's clean up, right click and delete it, and let's create a new folder called src. Inside this folder, what we need to do, we need to create a new file called index.js, new file index.js, and we are going to create a new file, one more file, index.css. Okay, so inside this index.js, what we are going to do is we are going to add all the necessary things what we need to add. So let's import the React from React. Okay, so this will add the React from the React. Then we need to add the React DOM, where we are going to load all our components. So React DOM, it's loading. Come on, why is it taking this much time? I don't know. So React DOM from, not from React, React DOM from React DOM. Okay, so React DOM. Then what we need to do is we need to load our index.css also, /index.css, and then now we need to render our application. So React DOM dot render. Okay, so inside here we are going to render our app. Let's say we render our app. So currently we don't have this app component. We need to create that app component. We are rendering this app component, and then it's going to be rendered inside the document.get element by ID called root. So if you wonder where this root is coming from, that is coming from your index.html. If you go to the index.html, you can see that div id root. So all the components, it's going to be rendered inside this particular root element. Okay, so now let's go ahead and create this app component. So let's create a new source app.js. So RAFCE, this helps you to create a React arrow function export component. This is nothing but the ES7 snippet, which helps you to create to write the React code much faster. So go ahead and click this extension and click ES7 React snippets. Where it is, this one, ES7 React Redux React Native snippet, which really helps and comes handy when you're writing the React code and when you are developing a React project. Okay, So RAFC, so that will create a React component, a functional export component. So save the changes. For the time being, we are leaving as it is as an app. And now let's fire our deployment server. So npm run start will make sure whether everything is working fine or not. So it's up and running, and our project, it's loaded. It's loading, still loading, and it's showing app is not defined. I expected, because we not linked our app in our index.js. So press control slash, that will import our application. So it's imported app from /app, and look at that, we have our app component which is loaded. Cool. So our deployment server and our React application, everything is working fine. And now what we need to do, we need to stop the server, stop it, and we need to install Chakra UI for our application. So if you search for Chakra UI, you can find their official documentation. So click their official documentation, and we are going to implement all these functionalities to our application. That's what we are going to do next. Okay, then, so now click here, and that will take you to their documentation home page, and where you can find, and look at that, it support these kinds of applications like React, Next, Gatsby, all these kinds of application. In this video, we are going to see how to implement this create React app. If you click this, and they will provide you the npm and along with the yarn. So we are going to use the npm node package manager, not yarn. So click here to copy it and go to your project folder and paste it over here. So that will install the Chakra UI for the React, and the emotion styled and framer motion for animation, that which comes with the your Chakra UI animation, all those things. So if you hit enter, so that will get installed. And next, what you need to do is you need to wrap your project with the Chakra provider. Then it will load all the utility classes for your project. So this is what we need to do. So go here, and let's see, it's loading, it's downloading all the packages, all the necessary packages. So this will take a while, so sit tight until it gets done. So it's loading. Come on. Once it's done, we need to do this setup, and we need to do one more thing, that is the dark mode. If you search for dark mode, you can scroll down, and how to import this dark mode and all those things. If you search for themes, what is that? Theme, customizing theme. Yep, this is it. And how to create a theme configurations and all those things, and theme configure. Okay, I forgot where is that thing. This is bad. Okay, so we need to extend their theme from this theme from the Chakra UI, and we need to create this instance, and we need to link it with our application. So I'll show you how to do that thing. Okay, so now let's go back to the Visual Studio Code. So that is installed successfully. Let me close it, and over here we need to go back to the documentation and search for what is that? Home screen. Go to the home. Get started, React app, and here this is what we need to do. So copy this. First you need to copy this line, copy it, and go to your app component, and right after here paste it. Okay, so then what we need to do, we need to wrap it with this provider. So copy this and enter here, and enter here. Here I'm going to open this Chakra provider, and I'm going to bring this app into our Chakra provider like this. So now our Chakra provider is our app component is wrapped inside the Chakra provider, so that we can use our complete all the Chakra UI components and UI utility classes, all those things. Okay, so then we need to configure the color mode. How to use the color mode? You search for color mode, and here look at that, it gives you a nice documentation how to implement and all those things. You just need to use this for our color mode functionalities. Okay, so we need to do all those things. So let's get started to do those things. So first what we need to do is we need to create a theme, a themes.js. So let's go ahead and create a themes in our source to maintain all the themes settings for our Chakra UI. So this is the file we need to create, themes.js, and inside here we need to extend the theme first. So import, so from Chakra UI React, we need to extend the theme. Okay, and we need to create a const config. We need to configure it. Const config is equals, we need to initialize the color mode, like initial color mode. What is going to be the initial color mode? So let me copy and paste it. Initial color mode. So the initial color mode is going to be the light mode. Initially our project is going to be loaded in the light mode. Then later we will change it to light mode to dark mode. Then what we need to do is we need to export this theme as a default theme. Export const theme is equals extend theme with our config settings. Config, whatever the configuration we set it, and we need to extend this particular settings to our as a default theme settings. So let's go back to our app component. So from here, now what we need to do, not app component, index.js, that is index.js. Okay, here. So here now what we need to do, we need to use this script tag. So copy this import color mode script, and right after here paste it. Then what we need to do is we need to import our theme. So import theme from /theme. So that will import our theme. So we have both our color mode script and the theme. Okay, then what we need to do is we need to wrap it like this. Okay, so copy the right after the Chakra provider, we need to bring our color mode script. Okay, so this is going to be a self-closing tag. This is going to be a self-closing tag over here. So that's close it. It's a self-closing tag. Then what we need to do, we need to pass our color mode, which is coming from our configuration theme.config. So initial color mode is going to be the initial color mode which we defined in the theme.js. Theme.config. Don't make any mistake, copy this and paste it here. Dot initial color mode, copy it and paste it. So this will make sure our initial project color mode is the light mode. So save the changes and let's fire it up and make sure whether everything is running fine. npm run start. So this will start our application. Currently there is no mistakes. I hope so. It's loading. Come on, why it's taking this much of time? Is there any mistakes? Nope, everything is successfully created. And look at that, our app is still running. You can see that look and feel, the text font and everything is changed because it successfully created the Chakra UI. Everything is successfully configured. Then what we need to do is we need to import few important packages to do all these necessary settings. So first what we need to do, what we need to install and is we need to install this Firebase, and we need to install the React router DOM, where we are going to set up all the router navigations for our project. That's what we are going to do next. So now open up your Visual Studio Code and open up your terminal, and let's create a new terminal. And here we are going to run these commands to install all the necessary packages. So npm install. So first what we need to do, we need to install the Firebase. We need to install the Firebase, copy it and paste it here. Along with that, I'm going to install a few more packages, React icons. This is the package I'm going to use all the icons. And Chakra UI is providing you the icons, but not that much. So I'm using the React icons for all our icons wherever I use inside the project. So React icons. Then React loader spinner. Make sure that you don't mistake the spellings and all those things. So React loader, LOADER, and spinner, SPI, and then ER, spinner. Then what we need to do, we need to install one more package, that is the React router DOM. So this is the package which is really helpful to navigate our user from one page to another. So React router DOM. This is for our main navigation. So hit the enter. So that will install all the necessary files, configurations, and it will download all the packages what we mentioned over there. So this might take a while. So now what we need to do is go back. We'll copy all the Firebase files from here. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to create a new file called firebase config.js. Inside the root folder, create a new file called firebase config.js. Okay, so this is the place where we are going to config all our files and everything. Open it. Then what we need to do is we need to get all the things from our Firebase console. So copy this completely and paste it up over here. So I don't need this command. Delete it. And okay, this is fine. So actually we are not supposed to keep all these functionalities as all these keys, secured keys, and all these things in as an open book, right? We need to secure all these things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create in the root directory, create a new file called .env. So we need to make sure all these files are secured. So create a .env environment file and make sure that env file is added in your github.env, because we need to avoid this file whenever we are uploading it. Okay, so add that .env file in your ignore. Then what we need to do, we need to add all the necessary things. So create the React app, Firebase API key equals. So copy this and then paste it here. So go ahead and create all these API keys and everything. So and make sure, don't forget to prefix all the environment variable with React app like this. Okay, so go ahead and add all those things and then come back. Okay guys, so I successfully added all the necessary things to be added in our environment variables. So now what we need to do is we just need to change all these things from there. So I can access the environment variable from the process.env and give that environment variable over here. So just copy this and replace everything, then we can change it. Paste it, paste it, paste it, paste it, and paste it. So now first copy one by one from their auth domain. So this is the auth domain and database URL. Copy the Firebase database URL, then project ID, then storage bucket, sender ID, and then app ID. Okay, so save the changes, and we need to stop our server and make sure everything is up and running fine. So close it, because whenever you're making some changes in your env environment variable file, you need to stop the server and rerun it and hit the npm run start. So that should load our .env file. So it's firing up and we'll check whether we are getting any error or not. So far there is no error in our project. Everything is loaded successfully and the app is loading, and in the console also we don't have any error. So everything is up and running perfectly. Cool. So let me close it, and then we will worry about this later. So now let's move on to our router navigation. So let me close this environment variable, and now let me come back to my index.js. Okay, so go back to your index.js. So in the index.js only we are going to set up all the router and all those things. Okay, so I need to import a package from the React router. So right after here I'm going to import that. Import from React router DOM. I'm going to import the browser router as router. Okay, so then copy this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap this app component inside the router component. Later we will create a different routes, and we need to make sure this app component is our main component, which is inside the main router component. So then everything will come under the router. Okay, so now we so far done with our index.js. So nothing else you need to add in our index.js. So go back to the app.js in our folder, open up your app.js. So here only we need to set up all the routes and all those things. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up two components. We need to create two different components. So first let's create a new folder called let's say container. Okay, so we are going to create a two different folder, container and components. So these are the two folders which is going to maintain all our custom components. So container and components both are same, but the main thing is container is going to have a very big component. Components it's going to maintain the small components. Okay, so inside this container I'm going to create a new file called home.jsx, and I'm going to create a new file called login.jsx. Okay, so these are the two files which is inside the container, and rafce login and rafce as a home. For the time being it's going to have home and login. So let's go back to the app.js. In the app.js, so first what we need to do is we need to import the necessary packages from the React router DOM. So let's import that things first from React, React router DOM. What are the things we need to import is, first we need to import the route from the end routes, and along with use navigate. Okay, so these use navigate hooks, routes, and all these things are necessary things for us. So then inside this, I'm going to use the routes. Okay, I'm going to define the route path. So route self-closing tag, and path, it's going to be login. Then element, it should load the element called login. Yes, this is the component it should load. So that is the component. This is coming from container dot slash container from login. Okay, login, and that will load the login. Then route path is equals /start. So if the user successfully log in, whatever the route is coming after this, it should load this particular element. Home, it should load the home component, which is coming from the container home. So these two components, that means if the user type www. some URL /login means it loads the login component, or / after that anything, it will go back to the home component. Later we will do all the necessary setups and all those things for these kinds for making the authentication and all those things. Okay, so first we make sure all these routes are working perfectly. So go back to your browser, make sure the server is up and running. Okay, the server is up and running. Go back to the browser. Look at that. Currently it's loaded the home directory because / nothing, so it's loading the home. So if I go to login, that will loads the login. What happened? No error. Again, it's having this text. We are not getting anything. Any error in the console? Yeah. Login is an unrecognized in the browser. Oh my god. I think I made a mistake. Let me. Oh, here it is a small case. Make the uppercase, change it to uppercase, and you need to make the changes for your file also. So mistakes happens, learn from mistakes. So don't keep a component name in a smaller lowercase. So I'll make it as a component in a lowercase. So lowercase, so I changed it to uppercase here. Then here also I need to change it to uppercase, and we need to import this package login, and this is not necessary. Delete it, save the changes, and now it should load that message. Look at that. So now it successfully loaded that message. Okay, so I think it's because of the conflict between this path and this URL name, so this component name. Okay, so now our router is successfully configured and it's working fine. So if the user, whatever the URL, for instance, after here, if I type something, that will takes me to the home component only. It doesn't matter what URL is coming after that, it goes to the home component only. Later we will inside the home, I will create a different route to go to the different places. Okay, so now we are pretty much done over here. Then what we need to do is we need to implement the login along with the Google authentication and all those things. That's what we are going to do next. Okay, then so here I'm having a folder of all the necessary files which is required for our project, like the logo, and along with the logo and the background and the SVG, all the necessary files which is required for this project. You're free to use your own logo. If you wish to download these files, I given a link in the description box. You can download that link. So let me copy this folder and then I'll bring it to my VS Code. Let me open my VS Code, and then I put it inside the source folder. Okay, so inside this also, make sure that you keep all these files inside the source folder. So now we have the source folder. Inside the source folder we have the image files and everything. So let's go back to the login.jsx. so let me close everything except this one, close all, and let me open the login, and here collapse everything. Okay, so let's keep it simple so that you can clearly see what we are doing right now. So here what we are going to do, let's going to design the main screen, the login screen for our application. So first what we are going to do, so let me change it. So add flex. So flex is provided by the flex. It's like nothing but a flex box which is provided by your Chakra UI, which we imported, so that it's imported successfully. Cool. Then this is going to justify the content, everything in the center, and align items, everything in the center. Okay, and width, it's going to be 100 VW, and then height, it's going to be 100 VH. That means literally we are covering the entire screen of that login component. Okay, and make sure the position as a relative position. Cool. Now inside here we are going to load the image. So we need to load the image first. So what we need to do is we need to load this background image which we are having in our images folder. This is the image. I'm going to use it as a background image for our login screen. So inside this flex box we are going to load that image. So before that, let's import it. Import, let's say music bg from like / images folder /. So let me rename it, copy the complete path and paste it over here, musicbg.jpg. Save the changes, and inside here we are going to use the image component which is provided by the Chakra UI. Okay, import it, and it's a self-closing tag, and inside the src, that means source, I'm going to load the music bg which I imported. Okay, and it should be use the complete height and width and everything. So it's going to be object fit. It should cover the entire screen, and width and height, it's going to be full height, full. It's going to take its parent height and width. Okay, so now let's have a look at it. Let's go back to the login screen and look at that. So our image is loaded successfully and it's covering the entire screen. Cool. Then what I need to do is I need to create overlay for this, because this image is too bright. If I'm keeping some pictures over here, it will not some content inside the center, it will not visible properly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a flex which is going to completely cover that image, and I'm going to add some background color for it. So let's add a flex, and for this we are going to add position as an absolute position. Okay, so that's why we added the relative position over here, position absolute. Then what we need to do, we need to add the width. It's going to be 100 VW. Height, it's going to be 100 VH. Then background color, it's going to be it's providing Chakra UI provides you lots of coloring functionalities. If you go ahead to their documentation, if you search for colors, you can find lots of colors over here. So these are all the colors you can use in your project. Okay, so go you can feel free and go through this colors sections and all those things. And even you can use your own colors also, it's no issues. You can use your own colors for your project. It's not necessary to use their colors, so I'm using their own color. So black alpha 600, that means 60% of the black color. So it should be start from the top 0 and left 0, and justify the content everything in the center, and align the items everything in the center. Save the changes. So that will reduce the layer brightness. So close it where it is. Now look at that, that image brightness is reduced because above this image we having that overlay, so that's why. Then inside this flex box, now we need to keep that sign in options, that Google sign in provider option. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a button. If you search for button, along with, we are not going to keep a plain button, we are going to keep a button with this icon functionality. That's what we are going to use. Okay, so we are going to implement that. Now let's go ahead and let's do that. Okay, so minimize it, and first what we need to do, we need to import H stack. Okay, horizontal stack. Inside here I'm going to use the button. It's a button which is provided by the Chakra UI, and make sure everything is imported perfectly. H stack, button, image, everything is imported. And inside here we are going to have that a text called sign in with okay, and I need to load the icon also. So in the inside the button we have the prop called left icon. Okay, so I need the icon in the left side, so I'm going to load the left icon. So what the icon we are going to load? So go to the React icons and open their official website, and here you can find the flat color icons, which is the colorful icons. Here go ahead and find the Google, this one, this is the icon we are going to use it. So click it and then import that icon first. Import flat FC Google icon from React icons /fc. Okay, now we can use those icons here. Left icon is going to be FC Google, and I need the font size as 25%. And for this button I'm going to add few more things. Color scheme is going to be white alpha, and the shadow, it should have a large shadow. Save the changes. Now we are able to see a nice button over here, and along with this hover effect, everything is over here. Cool. So now our button is implemented successfully. So when I click this, I want to do something, right? So that's what we are going to implement next. So on click, what I'm going to do is I'm going to call a function. On click, I'm going to call a callback function. Call login. So this is a function we are going to call login. So this function is not yet created, so let's go ahead and create that function. So scroll up and create that function, where right over here const login is equals, and we'll make this function as an asynchronous function. Okay, so why? It's because we are going to use the Firebase methods, because that methods need to wait until the pop-up to trigger that pop-up and all those things. So that for that only we are creating the asynchronous function. Let me explain briefly what I'm talking about. Okay, so now this is the time to open the Firebase documentation. So go to your Firebase console, click the go to docs, and that will take you to the Firebase documentation. And if you search in the fundamentals, you can find where it is authentication. Come on, here it is, build authentication. If you click this authentication, and if you go to the web directory, click get started. So this is the documentation we are going to follow, and it has it explained completely, and it's highly user friendly. If you go through it, you can really understand what all these things. Okay, in this case we are going to sign in with, we are going to use the Google sign in. So click the Google sign in, and look at that, we need to get the authentication, and we need to use the Google auth provider and all those things. Cool. So let's go ahead and do all those functionalities. So now what we need to do is go to our login.jsx and open your firebase.config.js. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to export this config to our I need to export it, then only I can access all this Firebase app settings and all those things. So let's say export const, instead of keeping it as an app, so I changed to Firebase app. So I'm exporting it, so later wherever I need I can import it and I can use it as a Firebase app. So close this, and now we don't need that anymore. So now go back to the login.jsx. so first what we need to do, we need to import all the necessary things. What are we need to import? We need to import this Google Auth provider, all those things. So if you go to the pop-up mode, we are going to use the pop-up mode, sign in with pop-up. You search for sign in with pop-up, sign in with pop-up, authentication using, yeah, that's the thing. Already we are in the perfect place only. Yeah. Okay, so now here it is. This is what I'm searching for. So this is the thing. So it will opens the pop-up window when you call the sign in with pop-up, which allows us to select the user settings and all those things. So before going to much deeper inside, we need to enable that Google authentication provider, right? So go back to the authentication, and then currently there is no sign-in method we added. So go to the sign-in method and click this Google and then enable it. So this is your project public project facing ID name. So I'm not going to change these things. I'm going to leave it as it is. So if you're changing it, make sure that's a unique name. Okay, so I need to give my email address. So once you click that, it provides the web SDK. That means the client ID and the client secret key, all these things will be automatically generated. So if I click save, that will take a second, more than a second. Cool. So now the Google authentication provider is enabled. If you click this, if you go to the web SDK, and this is your secret ID and the secret key, which is generated automatically for this project. If it is not generated, we need to go to the cloud.console.google.com and we need to provide we need to create the authentication client ID and all those things. So, but Firebase make this work easy. Okay, so now we done with these things, and let's go ahead and we need to import all these things. Import get auth, sign in with pop-up, Google Auth provider and all those things. So go to the login.jsx and let's import that thing. So copy it completely from here, and then right after here. So let me keep it simple. It's above, enter, and here import it. Oops, import. So now we imported all those things from the Firebase auth. Okay, then we need to have our Firebase app. Import Firebase app. Firebase. Oh, it's not loading. Firebase. Here it is. Not this one. It's not showing suggestions. I don't know why. From // Firebase config. Load the Firebase app. Oh, now it's showing that. I don't know why. Okay. Then what we need to do is, so this will trigger that pop-up. Let's make sure everything is working fine or not. Okay. Cool. Let's go here. What we need to do after here, open this. Okay. Then now we need to get the authentication and all those things. So here they are getting the authentication. Okay, so using this get auth method, we are going to get the authentication. So let's use that. So const Firebase auth get authentication. This method will, what is the usage of this? Is returns the authentication instance associated with the provided Firebase app. Okay, so this will provide all the authentication which we enabled over there, over here. Okay, so to get that instance, so inside this I need to pass this Firebase app, which app, then only you can access this all the app settings and everything. Okay, so pass that app. Now we have all the authentication instance. Then I need to select the provider, which provider I'm going to use. Provider is going to new Google auth provider. This is the provider we are going to use. So that will help you to get the auth provider. And I'm going to create one more thing, const navigate, use navigate, which is coming from React router dot. Okay, so this helps me to navigate to, once they successfully logged in, it helps me to navigate to the different location. Okay, that's the package we are adding it. That's the hook we are going to use. Okay, then I need to check whether it is working fine or not. Let's see. So const, let's say response is equals await. We are going to use this sign in with pop-up, open it, Firebase authentication, provide the Firebase authentication instance, and what provider you are going to use, because this method will take two inputs. One is your authentication instance and another one, in that authentication instance, what provider you are going to use. Okay, so that's what you need to pass, authentication and your provider. Okay, so that will return a promise, and we are catching that promise in this response, and we will console log it for time being. Console.log response. If everything is working fine, our response should be printed in the screen. Let me keep it on the right side. I will make it a little bit bigger so that you can also see. So if I click this, it's triggering that pop-up, and look at that. So it's opening the sign in page where we are going to sign in our Gmail. So click it and I should get the response back. Look at that, guys, we got our response back. It's sending our user details, and this is the user details completely. See, this is all our user details, access tokens and all those things. We are going to use that access token to monitor the session management and all those things. Firebase will do all those things. It's providing the refresh token, JWT token, which is a web token which is used to maintain the sessions and all those things. So this refresh token will be valid for only a certain time limit. After that, the user again need to log in to their application. So you don't need to worry about it. Firebase will manage all those things. Cool, right? And now, instead of having all these things, I just need only these user details, because inside this user details, I'm having all the functionalities what I'm looking for. So copy the user, go back here, and let's destructure it. Okay, so I'm going to destructure. I'm going to fetch only the user. Okay, so then, even though inside the user I don't need everything, all I need a refresh token. Where is that? All I need the refresh token. Where is that? Where are you? Token management, and here it is. This is what we need. All we need this refresh token. So copy this. So const refresh token. Along with that, we need the provider data. That means who logged in currently. So we need this provider data. So I'm going to fetch this provider data. Copy this, and that's an array. So we just need to get the first instance, or you can load this complete thing. So load it. Okay, so provider data, so that will gives the array information and all those things. So equals user. From the user we are destructuring. If you console.log, so wherever you have the possibilities to console log it, console it, and then check what you are getting actually. Okay, so close it, hit it, sign in. Look at that. This is our access refresh token, and this is our provider array data. Cool, isn't it? Okay, now what we are going to do is we are going to push all these details into the We are going to keep all these details in the browser local storage. Once a user successfully logged in, we keep it in the local storage, and whenever we needed that information, we'll fetch that from the local storage itself. Okay, to do that, I'm going to use local storage dot set item and user. I'm going to set the item as a user. JSON dot stringify provided data. So we will keep it as a provided data. Then we need to store the access token also. Local storage dot set item and the name of access token. JSON dot stringify. We are going to push that refresh token. Cool. Okay. So this will keep the information in our, let's say if I go here, go to the application. Inside the application, currently it's having my previous, at which I used to practice, it's having that thing. If you have a look at it, this video app, it doesn't have anything in that key, nothing. So for local storage, everything is empty. So now if I hit it, where is that login screen? Click it, and once everything is done, it should set the key. Look at that, the user information is there and access token is there. So it successfully pushed all the informations to our local storage. So successfully we have the details over here. So whenever we needed it, we can access it from here. Okay, cool. Now what we need to do is, I need to, once the user successfully logged in, along at the time, I need to save the user to the Firestore database. So it should be loaded over here. We need to save the user informations to WAF for maintenance on all those purposes. Okay, so that's what we are going to do next. So now we successfully implemented the sign in method, and we will push the data to the local storage, and we are going to save it permanently in the Firestore database. That's what we are going to do next. Okay then, so now what we need to do is, we need to get the Firestore database. So for that, we need to import a few packages. So what we need to do is scroll up, and right after here or wherever you want, so import from Firestore, oops, my mistake, from Firebase /Firestore. Okay, so let's it's a time to open their official documentation. Go to the documentation and go to the fundamentals and click add Firebase for web. If you go to that, so whenever you're learning a new technologies, go through their documentation. That's, I would recommend highly, because that's really needed. So we successfully integrated these things. Then what we need to do, this is the thing we needed right now. Okay, so we need to get the Firestore app, and we need to load our app over here. Then we need to create an asynchronous functions, and we need to push our data to the collection. We need to create a new collection with our Firebase app settings and the collection name, and we need to set the data to the collections. This is what we need to do. Okay, if you wish to learn much more deeper, so these are the functional documentation they are providing, cloud functions and all those things. We are we need this one, cloud storage. Open it. We need that thing later, because we need to push the details and everything to the upload the video, right? So we need that later, so keep it that. Then where is that? You search for Firestore, cloud Firestore documentation, and then where it is, get started. I think this is it. Yeah, here it is. Add data. This is how you need to add the data. Await, add dog, or you can use the set dog method. You can use any method as you wish, add dog or set dog. Okay. read the data, add the data. So this is how we are going to do all those functionalities. Let's do that now. So go back to the login.jsx, which we have. Cool. So here now what we need to do, I need to import few packages. Doc, I need to load the doc, then get Firestore, then set doc. These things I need to load. Add. Okay, cool. So doc, get Firestore, set doc, everything is added over here. So then what we need to do is scroll down. So here we are setting the local storage informations, right? We are pushing our user and access token, everything to the local storage. So right after that only we need to save our details, right? We need to save our details to the browser. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write set doc. It's an asynchronous method, so use await set doc. Okay, so I need to create a documentation reference, and so doc we are creating, and where we are creating the Firebase store, we need to create a database reference. We forgot to create that one. So right after here, const Firebase db, which is going to be get Firestore and pass your Firebase app. Okay, so that will, from this, using this key and all those things, it will create the it will get the access to our Firebase data store, and we have the access in instance over here, and we will pass that instance inside here, Firebase doc db. And then we are going to create a new collection called users. This is the collection I'm creating, and what is the data I'm supplying it to it. Okay, so what is the, you need to provide the document name now. So this is the collection name, and this is the document name you need to provide. So document name is nothing but, what is the document name we are going to provide? We are going to provide, if you open it, this one here, we have that inside the array, inside this object, we having one array. Inside that array, we having that user ID, that particular user ID. We are going to pass this user ID to that as the document name. Okay, so let me copy this provided data. Where is the provided data? Copy this provided data. We are accessing the 0th index dot UID, which is, it's automatically showing over there. That's the name, and we need to now supply the data. So provided data of 0. So whatever the data which is coming from the provided array 0th index, save all the details into the Firestore database. So once it's successfully done, what we need to do, we need to navigate the user to slash. Okay, that means it's need to push the user, all the users, to the login screen, to the home screen. So we need to replace this URL as a true. Okay, save the changes. Now if everything is working fine, this data will be pushed to the local storage, and it stores the details to the Firestore, and it will redirect it to the home screen. Let me clear the local storage for the time being. Currently there is nothing. Click it, click again, the data, everything is added, and look at that, the local storage is added over here, and it's moved to the home screen, home page. And let's go to our Firestore and refresh it. It should have the users collection. Look at that, the users collection is there, and the user ID is there, and all the user information is successfully stored. So we successfully implemented the Firestore, and we successfully stored our logged in user informations. Okay, cool. Then So even though it's not necessary to save the user informations, because all these user informations are already maintained by your authentication over there. If you go to the authentication, you look at that. Firebase also maintaining the users informations over here. Okay, so it's not necessary to maintain all these informations. So why I'm using this is because I need to do some customizations with the user details and all those things. That's why I'm creating the separate collections for the user. Okay, cool. Let's go back to the Firestore database. We have that user collections. Cool. Now what we need to do is we need to make sure that if someone is trying to access now, even though if you don't sign in, if the user simply type this URL, it will directly takes to that particular URL. So we need to restrict that. If the user is not there, we need to navigate the user to the login screen. So even though if the user hard code the URL in the over here, it's supposed to allow the user to open that page. We need to restrict that. To do that, now what we need to do is where is our main component is starting here, app.component. So inside the app, we need to check if the user in the local browser storage, if the user have this access token, allow the user to the home page, or else reroute the user to the login screen. This is what we are trying to do now. Okay, let's go here, and we need to create a state to monitor the user. Set user for the time being, I'm just setting it as a null. We import that thing, so that is imported. Okay, then I need the const navigate equals use navigate. That's from React router DOM. Cool. Now using the use effect method, use effect hook, I'm going to get the access token from the local storage. Okay, local this will take two different inputs. One is the function and another one is the dependencies, and currently this use effect needs to be rendered only one time, not every single time. So that's why I'm giving an empty dependency. While rendering, what I'm going to get is I'm going to get this access token. We are going to fetch this access token. So we need to fetch this access token and along with this user information. So time to time we need this information's different time in a different components. So this is the right time to change this or to implement this as a separate utility functions. So utility functions is nothing but, so it's a support functions which is required for our component. So create a new folder inside your source folder called utils, and inside this utils folder we are going to create a new file called fetch user. New file called fetch user.js. Inside here, what we need to do is we are going to do all the necessary things for our to fetch the informations from the browser. Okay, so first we'll fetch the user access token. So export const user access token equals an arrow 6 function component const access token is equals local storage dot get the item of that particular access storage. Which one? This one, access token. Get that access token. Okay, so we need to make sure that that access token is not an empty token. Okay, if it is not equals to undefined. So when the user trying to log in first time, it will be undefined only. So only we are trying to fetch it if the user if the access token is not undefined. Okay, if it is not undefined, then JSON dot parse. We need to parse it as a JSON data, like local storage dot get item, get that access token. If it is undefined, then simply clear the local storage dot clear. Make sure there is nothing. Okay, then we need to return this access token for our usage. Okay, so this function is done. So now let's go back to the login.jsx, and what we not login, so go back to the app.jsx, and here we need to get that access token. Const access token is equals user access token, which is coming from utils.fetch user. That will return the access token if there is no access token. If not access token, then navigate the user to /login, and then comma replace is equals true. Save changes. That will push the user to the login screen. Okay, so let's make sure that, let me clear this. Clear, there is no access token. So if I try to log in now, that will reroute me to the login screen. Look at that. If I delete it, if I press enter, that will push me back to the login screen itself. Look at that, how cool it is. Okay, so then now what we need to do, in case if there is an access token, what you want to do, I need to fetch that access token. So let me log in once again. Click login. So now we have that access token. Even if I'm refreshing it, it's not moving back, it's working fine. So if it's having that access token, we need to fetch the user information. So we need to create one more function over there to get the user information. So let me copy this function and paste it one more time and change this to fetch user, and then instead of access token, we need to fetch the user information. So paste it here and paste it here and return user, return that particular user. Okay, so we change the local variable and we change the get item here and here. So this will return the user. Okay, so now what we need to do, we can say as a user info, otherwise it will confuse us. So user info, this is the user info. We are getting the user from the local storage and we are returning it as an user info. Cool. Okay, there is no changes anymore. Great. Then go to the else block, and here I need to get that const. So actually, if you have a look at in your local storage, it is an array. So we need to destructure it before using it. Okay. So I'm just going to destructure it as user info is equals fetch user from the user utils.fetch user, fetch the user. Oh, this is also same. Okay, we'll see if it is throwing error, then we'll see what we can do. So I'm going to set that user in a state, and I will pass that user to the home component, so that inside the home component I can use it. So now let me send it that user information over here. User is equals user state, close it, save the changes, and I will go back to the home component. Where is the home container? Home, and here I will console.log that user, which is coming through the prop. Save the changes. If everything is working fine, if you go back to your console, currently it's null. If you refresh it, still we are getting null. Why? Console.log user, we are getting null. Actually, it is supposed to fetch the information. we are having the local storage, we are getting the user, fetch user, what's the problem? Oh my god, my mistake. Instead of this user info, I set the state itself. That's the problem. Now we should get the ID. Look at that. Cool. So let me close it, and let me close this console also. So because inside the home screen we having this console, so I just close the console log over here. So if I refresh it, initially when the state is loaded, initially when it's rendering this, it will be null in the home component, and then when the state gets updated, it's fetching the user informations over here. Look at that, how cool it is. So now we have all the user informations what we needed. So let's close this console log. Okay, so we successfully implemented the login. So if there is no details, if this detail is not here, even if the user trying to hardcode this, it will not go to that particular information. So next thing what we need to do is we need to start customizing our home component. That's what we are going to do next. Okay then, so before starting the customization of your home components, let's go to the browser and let's have a look of the demo which we are already having in our hand. If you have a look at this, it's having this nice navigation bar, and it's having the entire component feed components. Inside this we having the two different links. So we having this this categories, and we having this feed. Okay, so this is how we need to customize all those things. Let's go back to our home.jsx. Okay, so we are getting the user informations over here, and then that we will pass that user informations to the navigation bar, so that user will fetch the you can access that user information in the nav component. Cool. So first what we need to do, we need to create all the necessary components what we need for our in our home component. Okay, so let me close everything, close others except that, and collapse it. Let's go to the components. Inside the components, first component is going to be your navbar.jsx RAFCE navbar, save the changes. Then we need feed, our main feed.jsx, cool, RAFCE, save the changes. And then along with that, what we need to have is we need to have a few more components which is going to be important. So first let's fix all the route which is going to happen from the home component. Okay, so then we need this create.jsx, which is going to help the user to upload their video and all those things. Then we are going to have create is done, then which is going to be the video pin.jsx. okay, then what we need one more thing, that RAFCE, save the changes. Okay, then we need to get the search.jsx RAFCE search.jsx, save it. And along with that, so for time being, I hope this is enough. Later we will add one by one. So we need to import all these things inside here, so that will mess up the complete import statement. So assume like import create from create from /component/ create video pin search, so it will create a multiple component. Later we need to add more and more components here. So I'm going to create a new file called index.js, and here I'm going to import all the necessary imports, so that will reduce our work. So export default as home from home we already have. What we need create /create. Copy the changes, paste it a few more times, and then we need to add feed, then we need to add navbar, then we need to add search, then we need to add video pin, save the changes. So this will be added. Now let's go back to the home component and let's now import it. Okay, so first let's go to the home.jsx. So let me delete this. Instead of displaying the text, I'm going to use the React fragment. Okay, so React fragment. Inside this React fragment, we are going to render the navbar first. Navbar, which is that, and I'm going to pass the user information into it. User, cool. Then after this, I'm going to create a flex box. I'm going to create a flex box, flex, which is coming from your Chakra UI. So we need to import that. Import flex from at Chakra UI React. Okay, so we need to import that thing from the Chakra UI React, save the changes, and now inside this flex, it's going to be direction as a column, not column, it was column, and justify the content from the start and align the items in the center. Okay, and width is going to be 20. So this is for our categories. For the time being, I'm just going to render our category. So we don't have category now, so let's create a category also. Category JSS. Okay, RAFCE, and let's import that thing in our index dot category, save the changes, and now inside here I'm just going to render that category component, so that gets imported. Okay, so this is for this purpose only we are using the index.js. So inside the components we have the index.js, so everything will be imported as the object, so like this. So that will make a single import statement instead of messing up it completely. Okay, so right after this flex, I'm going to create one more flex box, flex. Okay, and that flex box is going to use the full width, whatever the width is available after that, use the width as full, width full, and then justify the content center and align the items center, and the padding X is going to use the x-axis 4. Okay, inside this I'm going to create the routes which is coming from React route and all. Make sure that's imported properly, route, and along with that I'm going to import one more thing, route, these two. Inside this routes I'm going to pass a different route. First one, the root route, if it is coming with the path like slash, that means that's the root route. Load the component feed, load the feed component. Now copy this and paste it one more time. If it is coming from category slash colon category, I'm passing the category ID as a URL parameter. Okay, category ID. If it is that, then load the same feed, but in that time we are going to load only the category based feed. Then if the route is coming from slash create, that is to create a new video, so that it should load a create component. Make sure that component is simply imported correctly. Okay, then if it is coming through video detail / video ID, then load the video pin. Okay, then if that route is coming through dot search, then load the search. Cool. Okay, so what are the components we added? I hope we added everything. Save the changes, and now let's go back here and look at that. We're having the category and along with the feeds. Cool. So that home route is working perfectly. If I am navigating is to create, so that will change this to create. If I change to search, that will search to search. If I change this to category /1, I need to go to the category and I need to pass the ID also. So that will come back to the feed section alone. If that is nothing, that will come back to the feed section alone. Cool. So our route, everything is working fine now. Okay. So we made successfully implemented all those things. So the next thing what we need to do is we need to add some customization for our NavBar. Okay, so if you have a look at here, it's having this logo, a search box along with this toggle mode, and then this plus icon where it helps to user to navigate to the create and the user image. So next what we are going to do, we are going to customize this NavBar. That's what we are going to do next. Okay, then so in the NavBar we need to use the color mode. For instance, if I click here, see it's toggling the entire page color mode, so the light mode and dark mode. To do that, what you need to do is you need to go ahead and the Chakra UI and search for color mode. You can find the documentation. So we already added these things in our theme.js. So we already initiated all those things. So we don't need to worry about that. So how to use them? So look at that. Here we go. This is what we need to do. So we need to get this use color mode value. When we click it, we need to toggle it to light and dark mode. That's what we need to do. Cool. So let's go ahead and do all those things. So go to your your Visual Studio Code, open it. So let me close everything, close others. I leave the home as it is, and I'll open the NavBar. Okay, inside the NavBar only we are going to do all those things. So first I need to import these logos. We need to import the logo. So if you look at here, currently it's having the dark. If I change it, it's loading the light. So it's happening very smoothly. So we need to import those two different logos which we are already having in our images folder. These two logos. See? Okay. So let's go ahead and add those things. Import. Let's say logo from /images/logo.png. That's the file name, logo.png, and import logo underscore dark from /img/logo underscore dark.png _dark.png. Save the changes. These are the things. Okay, and we need to import two more things. Import from React router DOM. We are going to say link and use navigate, these two things. Okay, and later we will import one by one whatever the things we need to import. So first let's go ahead and import the toggle color mode. So go here, copy this, and then paste it right over here. So our navbar using the user prop, where it is navbar here, user prop, and then destructure that user prop, save the changes. Then here what we need to do is we need to get the the color value. So when you toggle to light mode and dark mode, what is the color you need to use? So const bg is equals use color mode value. That's the thing I need to import from Chakra UI. Use color mode value. So when it comes to light mode, first one light and second one dark. When it comes to light mode, use the gray dot 600. That's the color. When it comes to dark mode, use the gray dot 300. Okay, this is the color value I need to use for BG. Okay, if you for text color and all those things, if you want to use different color, you can set all those colors from here. And then inside here, it's going to be a flex box first. So let's import the flex and make sure that is imported flex. And then this inside this flex only, we are going to have this what is that, this image search box and all those things. Okay, so let's inside, what is the error we are getting? Use color mode. Oh, this is not important. Then this is going to be justify the content. It should space, it should divide the space equally, align the items, everything in the center, and width, it should take the complete screen width 100 viewport width, and padding, it should be 4 in both x and y axis. Okay, then inside this flex box, inside this flex, what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the logo. So I'm going to bring the logo, this logo. Whenever I'm clicking this logo, it's taking the user to the home screen, right? So like that, we need to add it. So I'm going to bring the link tag, which is from React router top to take the user to slash. That means home route. Okay, then load the image self-closing tag. Okay, so here src is going to be src open it, and we are going to check the color mode. What is the color mode? If the color mode is equals to light mode, then load the logo dark, else load the normal logo. And then we'll fix the width is going to be always use 180 pixels. Save the changes. Now image is not defined. Chakra UI. Cool. Now you can see that. Okay, so now it's loading that dark one because it's using the light mode. If it is changed to dark mode, it's used the what is that, light logo. Okay, cool. So it's working fine. Then what we need to do, we need to bring up the search box. So let's go ahead and search for input. Okay, so it's having lots of input variants and all those things. Go through this document, but what we are going to do, we are going to use an input group along with the icon. That's what we are going to use. So this input group, so copy this input group, and then right after this link tag, paste it. So we need to import input group, imported, import input element, imported, and we need to import input, imported. All these things are imported. So we don't have this icon, so close it. This icon is going to be search icon. So IO search. So let me load the React icons. So right here, ignore, otherwise it will show a very big line. So ignore this. Then import React icons / IO file. What we need to import, I need to import IO search. This is the thing I need to import, and here I need to render that component. IO search, use the font size as 25 pixels, and this is going to be a text, and this placeholder is going to be search. Save the change. Let's see. Look at that. So now we have the search component over here with this icon and all those things. Cool. It's working fine, right? Okay. So now what we need to do is we need to do some customizations for our input and all those things. So it's going to use the font size as 18 pixels and font weight as medium. and variant, it should use the variant as filled variant. It's having a lot of different variant types. If you go through here, you can see what are the different variants it's having. You can find the difference. These are the variants: outline, filled, flushed, unstyled. So now it's filled variant. Cool. And then what we need to do is we need to have some margin space between this, right? So for the input group, so mx is equals 6. Save the changes. Now it's have in the left and right, it's having some margin space. I don't need this search box this much big. So what I can do is I can fix the width. You can say whatever the width is, doesn't matter. Take the 60 viewport width. Okay, so now it takes the 60% of the viewport width. Cool. Then after this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this color toggle icon, this toggle section with all these functionalities. Okay, so we are going to add a flex box, and then we are going to display all those icons over there. Right after this input group, create a flex. Inside this flex, it's so justify the content as in the center, and then align the items in the center. These are the things. Then what we need to do is we need to load a different icon. Okay, so if the what is that, if that color mode, if that color mode is light, I need to load different icon. If the color mode is dark, I need to load different icon. So I'm going to create a flex box, one more flex box. So this flex box is going to have width as 40 pixel, and then height as 40 pixel. Okay, then after that, justify the content in the center, align the items in the center. After that, we need to bring up the cursor as pointer. After that, you need to bring up the border radius as 5 pixel. Okay, 5 pixel. Save the changes. Let's see, currently it's not showing anything. Okay, so now inside here I need to display the icon. This is where the real trickiest part. So what we need to do is, if the color mode is light, if the color mode is equals to light mode, then what you need to do, you need to load this icon, IO moon icon, with the font size of 25. Okay, or else load IO sun icon, IO sunny slash font size of same 25. Save the changes, and now look at that, we have this option. So currently when you click this, nothing is happening. It's because we didn't add a click event for that. So we need to add an on click event. On click, what I need to do is I need to just toggle the color mode, which we already added over there at the top, where here toggle color mode. So now if I click this, look at that, how cool it is. Just in a few lines of code, we just make this toggle color mode. Cool. The image is changing. Look at that. That search was changed, and see here that icon is also changing. Cool. How awesome it is, guys. Then what we need to do, we need to add this plus icon. So that's what we are going to do next. So right after this link tag, where we are finishing this flex, inside this flex, we are loading this IO. So wait a second. I think right after here only, or where? Oh, this flex is for the icon. Okay, right after this flex box. Cool. It's confusing. So this is for create button. So comment it. So that makes us too easy to understand it. So this button is going to, when I click that link, Okay, when I click that link, it should take me, it is going to take me to a different component. So equals, sorry, to, for the time being, I'm just keeping it empty. Later, I will change these things. Okay, otherwise, whenever we are clicking it, it will be changed. So flex. Okay, so inside the flex, what we are going to do, we are going to just display an icon. So IO add icon slash font size is going to be 25, and the color is going to change. The color of the icon is going to keep on change according to the light mode and dark mode. Okay, so if the color mode is going to be a dark, if the color mode is going to be a dark, then load this color hash 111 in a string 111, else load this color hash f1 f1 f1. Okay, this is the color code it's going to be. Let's see, look at that. So now it's in the light mode, so it's displaying like this because I'm going to add a background color and all those things. Then you can see that icon over here very clearly. So let's add that flex for the colors for the flex. So this is going to be justify the content center and align the items in the center as well. Okay, then BG is going to use the BG which we defined at the top over here. It's going to use this color mode. Look at that. Now we have that color. You can see the difference over here, right? So that's what we are trying to implement. Then after this, what we need to do, we need to fix the width. Width is going to be 40 pixels and height is going to be 40 pixels. Save the changes. And then border radius we need to add. Border radius is going to be 5 pixels. Then margin, both in x and y axis, it should be 6. X axis, sorry, not only in x axis. Cursor is going to be the pointer, and when I'm hovering it, I need the shadow. So shadow is going to be LG. I think that's too much. Medium. Shadow, it's going to be medium. Then transition, it's going to be ease in, out. And transition duration, it's going to be 0.3 seconds. Save changes. Now look at that. When I hover it, it have that shadow effect and it's working so good. Okay, now when I click it, nothing is happening because we didn't add a link. When I click it, it should navigate the user to /create. Cool. Now if I click it, now it's loading the create component. If I click this, it will load the feed component. So everything is working fine. Then what we need to do, we need to bring up that user information. So we already having the user information in our state, which is coming from our home component. Cool. So using that thing, we can update the user informations over here. Okay, so now what we need to do, we need to display that user informations and all those things. But if you have a look at it in the page, if you click that, it's displaying this nice menu icons and all those things. So that thing is coming from the menu functionality. If you search for menu functionality in Chakra UI, you can find a different menu actions. See, like this, having lots of functionalities over here. So use whatever the functions you want. You can use that one or this one like this, along with these pictures, or this one like this. So you are free to use whatever the design you wish to have. Okay, so just go ahead and then create all those things. Choose the design whatever you're going to use. Okay, so I'm just going to use the basic one, the first one. Where it is, this one, a very basic one. Cool. Okay, so now what we need to do, we just need to copy these things. So let me copy it, and where is this flex is ending, this link, after this link only, I think so we need to add, yeah, create link. Yeah, after this link we need to add that menu. So we'll add that menu button and menu list, menu item. So we don't need any of this, delete it. And we don't need this icon also. I don't need any right or left icon, so I delete these things. because instead of action, I'm going to load the user picture. So I'm going to load the image tag, image dot slash. Okay, so that is going to coming from your Chakra UI, and src source is going to be user. Inside the user condition rendered if the user, then load the photo URL. Width is going to be 40 pixel, and then height is going to be 40 pixel, and then rounded it's going to be full. Save the changes. This will load the picture of the user. Now look at that. When I click this, it's bringing that menu. Cool. That's also working, right? How cool it is, huh? That's why I prefer to use the material UI or Chakra UI, all those things. But I feel Chakra UI is much easier than when it comes to material UI. Okay. So then what we need to do is we need to wrap this into a link. Okay. So for the time being, this is going to be link is going to true equals it's going to be the profile ID. So this is going to be profile for the user. So I'm just going to paste it here, and I'm going to change this to my account. Okay, so when the user clicks this, it will take the user to the profile settings. Like this, we need to create one more thing, insert here. Okay, and what we are going to do is we are going to keep logout button also. So I think that's not supposed to be a link. Just copy it. Okay, so inside here we are going to add two important informations. That's one is the logout, another one is the icon, IO log out, and that is going to use the font size as 20 pixels. And this is going to use the flex direction as row, and align the items in the center, and the gap between these two icons, it should be 4. Now if you click here, you can see this logout button, and you can see this my account settings. Cool. How cool it is, right? Okay, so for the menu list, I need to add some shadow effects because when it's not looking good. So let me add some shadow effects for it. So shadow, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use LG. Now you can see that it's having that shadow effect. Cool, right? If I change this to dark mode, how it is looking? Cool. That's it, changed, entirely changed. When I click this, it will take the user. Currently it goes nothing, but it will take, when later we'll add that link, it will take the user to that particular navigation link. So now we successfully integrated our navbar. So next, all we have to do, we have to focus on the categories. That's what we are going to do next. Okay then, so now let's start integrating the category. So what we need to do is go to your Visual Studio Code. And for the time being, we don't need this navbar. Close it. Always keep your this clean, so you don't get the headache. Just for that only I'm asking you to keep it clean. Okay, so then what we need to do, we need to go to the category, bring the category in. Okay, leave it as it is, and go to the home now. In the home section, we are simply loading this as a category. So what I'm going to do is for the time being, I'm just going to keep the dummy data over here. So let's go ahead, and inside the source folder, I'm going to create a new file called data.js. Okay, inside here, we are going to create the categories. So export. Okay, we are going to export the settings. Export cards categories equals an array. Inside this array, we are going to have a bunch of values like ID, name, icon, source, and all those things. So for that, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy it and paste it, the code which I'm already having in my hand. So you can download this code from the description which I given below. So go ahead and copy this code and paste it by yourself. Okay, so we don't need to waste our time in typing all this dummy data. This is nothing. I'm just loading the data. That's it. The icon and all those things. So now we have this data and all those things. Let's go back to the home. Okay, and we need to import the data from there. So let's import the data from /data.js. Save the changes. Now we need to dynamically send the data to the category, so that I'm going to render it. Okay, I'm going to render it. So let's say we will condition render it. If there is categories, it should map all those things. So categories, actually these categories is coming from data, right? So we don't need data because we don't have any data over there. So we are getting the categories. So if that is categories, then categories dot map, okay, we'll get the data, each and every data. Then we will render this particular component. What component? Category component. And then it will throw a key error because it should be unique. So inside the data we having the ID, so I'll pass the ID as the key for that thing, and I will send the complete data as a prop data. I'll send the complete data as the prop. Okay, so inside the category we can access this data. So now if you go ahead and have a look, it's simply showing category. So to change this, what we can do is we'll go to the category, and here we'll destructure that data prop. We'll get that data. So through that data we'll make some customizations and all those things. Okay, so here I'm just going to use the same color mode. So let's go back to the navbar, and we will copy these two important settings, and actually we copy this and we will paste it here. We don't need this toggle color mode because we are not going to toggle the color mode. We just need the color mode. And okay, save the changes. And now here, instead of this, let's have some space to understand it. So here, delete it, and let's load the flux, which is going to come from Chakra UI. Okay, inside this flux, I'm just going to make this as a cursor pointer, and margin and y, and in the top and bottom it should have 5. Inside this I'm going to have a link tag, because whenever the user clicks that, user needs to navigate to that specific category, right? So that's why, where we're having the home, we're having this category ID and all those things. So copy this and I will paste it to the top to not link is not going to be the Chakra UI link. It should comes from React router DOM. Link should comes from React router DOM. Please guys, make sure link should comes from React router DOM. Okay, so here I'm going to pass that. I create a string literals. Okay, and then paste it here, category. Instead of this category ID, what I'm going to do is I'm going to dynamically send the data.name over there. Okay, this data.name is coming from here. So I will send the data.name in the URL. Later, once it goes there, I will get the category name from there, and then I will apply all the filters and all those things. Okay, you will understand why I'm setting these things. Okay, so I'm pushing that data.name to the URL. Cool. Then I'm going to load the icon. So whenever you'll see here, use color mode is not loaded. Let's go here and load that one first. Use color mode and use color mode value. Save the changes. Now if you go back here, currently it's nothing. Don't worry about that. If you hover it, see, it's having this nice tooltip, right? So we need to get that tooltip. So let's go here and search for tooltip. And here we go. We have the tooltip. it's having different tooltip over there. So go ahead and use whatever the tooltip you prefer to use. Okay, so I'm just going to copy this for the time being. Copy it, and then right inside the link tag, paste the tooltip and import it. Import the, instead of button, I'm going to change it to box. Box is nothing but a kind of division. Inside this division, we are going to load that data dot icon source, where it is icon source. Copy this icon source and then paste it here. Now if you have a look at it, box is not imported. Now you can see that it's having this all the functionalities over here, but it's loading in a red color. So we'll make that changes, that we'll make some changes for that. Oops. So then what we need to do is, instead of this label search places, this label needs to be updated automatically. So I'm going to display the data.name over there. And instead of BG red, I'm going to use the dynamic color mode. So, which I'm having over there, BG, which I defined over here. Okay, and it should have that arrow. Okay, and then it should place the placement of the item. The placement should be only, it should come always in the right side. So, right side. And delay. The tooltip delay, it should not close immediately. It should wait minimum 3 seconds or something, 300 milliseconds something, I think so. Then the arrow size, which is coming when I hover it, it's coming, it looks too big. That's awkward. So we don't need that arrow size that much big. So this much of customization you can do for every single activities for your Chakra UI. Look at that. So we successfully created a nice tooltip, guys. If I change this different mode, look at that, it's working fine. Cool, right? So we successfully integrated this one. Okay, so when I click this, it's going to that category and it's pushing that category name over there. So we successfully updated the category section. Okay, then so now it's the time to create the create page. So right now I'm in the demo page where we are. So if I go here and click this create button, it's having this nice UI over here along with this description editor also. So we are going to implement on all those things. Okay, so let's go ahead and do all these functionalities. Let's go to our Visual Studio Code. Category is done, close it. Data.js, it's done. And NavBar, it's done, close it. Okay. So in the NavBar, I think we need to make sure we added the link for the create, right? So we added the link for create. Cool. Let's go to the create.jsx. So this is our file and let's go to our application. Currently it's looking like this. We'll make all the changes, whatever the necessary things we need to do. So let's change the designs first. So create is not going to take any prop inside as for now. It's going to be empty only so far. Okay, so what we are going to do is we are going to bring the color mode first. Okay, so let me copy and paste it inside color mode, copy it and paste it here. Okay, so wherever we need the color mode, we need to import all these things. So I'll just copy it from the sample and then I paste it here. So type it, or whatever the color mode you needed, type it over here. Cool. Okay, and this is going to be a very big import, so I'm just going to ignore it, otherwise it will look so big. So let me ignore by here -ignore. This line, this command will make sure the prettier code formatter avoid this particular line. Okay, so this line will be avoided. So right after here I'll give a break. Okay, so then now what we need to do is here we need to create a flexbox first. So let's create a flexbox, delete it and import a flexbox, import it. So flexbox is imported. Then this is going to be using the justify the content as center and align the items as center Okay, and width as 100 viewport width, and then minimum height, minimum height, I'm fixing the minimum height only, not the maximum height. Minimum height is going to be the 100 VH. Okay, padding, it's going to use 10. Padding, it's going to use 10 in all the X and Y axis both. Okay, then we are going to create instead of 100 VH, what we can do, we can say full, because we already having the parent size and all those things. So take the full width, and inside this width, for the time being, we'll make sure whether everything is working fine or not. BG is equals BG. Save the changes, and now you should see something over here. Oh, why it's coming here? I think we made a mistake in our design, so we need to go to the home. In the home, what we are using, did I change anything? Category, this is column. Oh, I made a mistake over here, guys. These things are separate flex boxes. These two of them should be inside another flex. So create one more flex here and then paste it inside that, and make sure that as a width, full width. 400 view width. Save the changes. Now it should be in a single row. Look at that. It's going outside of the box, right? It's going outside of the box. If I change this to full, I think that's still, it's going to be the same only. I think so. Still, it's same only. Actually, why it's going out? Instead of this, take a 90% of the width. Okay. Still it's going out. Why? Inspect the elements. Where is it? This is what it's having. This division. What is this division? Where it is? That is that one. Okay. This is, what is this division? This is what's the problem. Figuring out the problem is the entire headache. Remove this padding. This is whole flex, and this is division, and this, okay, I'm sorry. So actually that's a problem is coming from here. Actually, this is the problem. Okay, this should take the 100 viewport points. This should take let's say 10%. Okay, and this should take 90%. I think now it's solved. Okay, so 90%. I don't need this padding. I think so. Padding, we don't need that padding. Cool. So designs, we are making some changes. So width is 10% over here, and here width is going to be 90%, and I removed the padding in our home section. Okay, so now if I go to the here, if I make it full, this should work fine. Look at that. So it's working perfectly. Cool. Right. If I make full, it's making some problem. It should use the 90%. Why it's happening? Justify the content in the center, align the items. Let me remove the align items. Let me remove these two, verify it. Okay, so now it's coming here closely. Cool. Here instead of 10%, make it 5% and change this to 95%. So these are just trial and error, guys. You just need to be satisfied until you are satisfied with your work and all those things. Okay, so trial and error. So I hope this is perfect now, and let's go back here and we'll change one more time here. Hold. Let's see what's happening. Okay, and for this we add padding 4. Now it's having this space over there. Okay, so like initially we added this index.css, right? So now let me add the, for the body tag, overflow X, make the hidden, and also the body WebKit scroll bar display none. I don't want to display the scroll bar. Okay, cool. Look at that. So now our design perfectly fine, right? Cool. So now let's move on to that. Go to the, and let me remove this background. I don't need that background anywhere anymore. Okay, so let me go to the let's continue creating the design. Okay, so let me remove this and let me enable this padding. Then inside here we are going to have the flux box. Okay, so flux, let's say flux. Okay, so that flux is going to be let's say width, it's going to be the 80% of the parent width, and height, it's going to, whatever the height, it should take always the full height. Border, it's going to be 1 pixel. Border color is going to be let's say how it's looking here. Okay, in the light mode, perfect. Okay, cool. So we can say gray 300, and then border radius, it's going to be empty, medium divides, medium, and the padding, it should use 4, and flux direction is going to be column. Align items, it's going to be center. Justify the content, it's going to be in the center, and the gap for each and every item should have 2. Now you should get this box. Look at that. Cool, right? Then what we are going to do inside this we are going to have that so actually we fix the minimum height over here, that's why it's taking that minimum height. Okay, if you don't fix that minimum height, it doesn't take that height. Okay, so that's okay, that's fine. So like here, inside here, now what we need to do, first we need to display the title, this entire title. Okay, so for that, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to add the input, which is from Chakra UI, just a closing tag. and it's have a quite a property like variant. It's going to be flushed, and placeholder it's going to be title, or enter your title, whatever you want. So focus, the border color, it should change to gray dot 400, and is a required one. So is required error border color. If there is any border color, it should display red color. Okay, then type of this is going to be a text one, and then hash placeholder, change the placeholder color. Placeholder color is going to be color colon gray dot 500. Save the changes. Let's see how it looks. It looks like this and looks like this. Perfect. Then what we need to do, we need to change the font size. Let's say 20. Okay. For the title, we need to create a new state. So use state snippet, and without pressing anything, just type title, set title. Initially the title is going to be null. So here value, not null, it should be an empty string, because null means it will throw error. Input cannot be a null, it should be an empty string. Okay, so initially the title is going to change that thing, and we will import the use state. Okay, and it's going to take the value as that value is going to be title. On change, whenever there is the change is happening, we are going to trigger a callback function, and it throws an event in it, and we will get that, set the title as the event dot target dot value, whatever the value it's having, set that instantly to that state. So that state will get updated, and the state will have that value, current value. So this should work fine. Cool, it's working fine. Then what we need to do is, after that, we need to create one more flex box. We need to have these two items over there. So let's go and create that two flex box. Okay, so right after this input tag, we need to create a flex box. Flex. Okay, and in this flex is going to be justify the content, everything in the space between, and the align items. Width, it should take the complete width. It should take the complete width, full, and align items, it should be in the center, and the gap, it should be 8. Okay, and the margin Y, it should be 4. We need some space between that. Then inside here, first we need to load the menu item. So let's go ahead and copy that menu item and all those things. Okay, then we need to bring up that location, input location. So what I'm going to do is go here and search for menu. Okay, so I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to paste it here. Add menu button, we need button, and menu list, we need list, menu item, we need item. So we'll change all these things. Okay, so so what we are going to do is, we are going to bring the categories over here. So to do that, first what we need to do, we need to set the category. We need to create a state for the category. So let's go ahead and create a state for the category, and where it is, the state over here, use state snippets, category, set category. Initially it's going to display as choose a category. It's going to display that's this. Then instead of this action, I'm going to display that category over here, category. if you save the changes without any error, that's not even possible. We don't need this chevron because we need to bring up our own chevron over here. IO chevron down, chevron down, our own icon. IO chevron down. Font size is going to be 25. Okay, so that will make some changes. And this button, look at that, cool, right? So now we have this button, everything over here. Choose the category, and when I click this category needs to be updated. That's what we are going to do. But instead of this dummy data, now what we are going to do is we are going to iterate over our categories, whatever we are having in our hand. Okay, so this menu button should take the width completely, whatever the available width, take the full width. And the color scheme I'm going to use, I'm going to use the color scheme, blue color scheme. Okay, blue color scheme, that will change the color over here. Cool, right? Then what we are going to do is, so don't worry about that, we'll fix that later. Now inside this menu list, we need to add few more styles like Z index and the width and the shadow effects and all those things like this. Just add these styles, Z index, width and shadow effects and all those things. Then what we need to do, we need to iterate through the menu list. So instead of this menu item, close this, I'm going to iterate it. So categories dot map, open the data, iterate through each and every data and create a component. Here we are going to bring the menu item, close it, and for each and every menu item we need to pass the key that should be unique, so data.id. Okay, then on hovering this menu item, it should look display. On hover menu item, it should change the background color. So BG, it's going to be black alpha 300. So type it without any spelling mistake, black alpha 300, and the font size is going to be 20, and PX in x-axis 4, and on click, whenever I'm clicking it, this should update a callback function by setting a category as data.name. So that's why when I click it, that this value will get updated. Which category I choose, that value will get updated. Inside here, I need to display the icon source, data.icon source. Along with that, we need to display the text. What text it is? Data.name. And font size, I can say 18, and margin left 4. Save the changes, and let's verify how it's looking like. If I click it, look at that. Cool, right? So it's displaying perfectly how we are expecting it. So now everything is fine. So right after this, we need to create one more icon group. That's the input group. So let's go ahead and search for input, and we need to add the icons with that. So copy this input group, anyone, and then where is our menu is ending? Right after the menu, we need to add that input group. Save the changes. So that should display. Damn this. Without any error, it's not even possible for us. Input. Okay, so this is not going to display. Instead of that, we are going to display the location, IO location. Font size is going to be 20. Color of this is going to be a dynamic string. open the string literals and use the color mode. If the color mode is equals to dark, then use this color hash f1. Else use this color hash 111. Save the changes. Okay, I hope now this will work. This is going to be a text, and this is going to be where we're having, I think I can copy the same color for same and everything for whatever I had for this input. Copy it and then paste it here. Paste it. Instead of this title, I'm going to change this to location, and instead of this title we need to add a state for it. So let's create one more state. Use state snippet location, set location. Okay, so it's going to be null value for the time being, and then here it's going to be the location, and here set title is going to be set location. Save the changes without any mistakes, otherwise figuring out the mistakes will be more complicated. So save these changes. Now let's see. Look at that. This is how it looks. This is how it looked. I click this, it's working fine, and I click this is looking good, right? So right after this, now what we need to do, we need to bring up this particular option, the user, which helps the user to upload it. Okay, choose a file. That's what we are going to do now. So let's go back here, and right after this input group and this flex box, okay, enter. This is for file selection. Okay, file selection. Let's create a flex. Okay, this flex is going to have quite a few properties. Border, it's going to be 1 pixel, and border color, it's going to be gray 500. Then height of this is, I'm fixing the height as 400 pixel always, and border style, it's going to be dashed. Then width, you should take the complete width full, and border radius, it's going to be medium, and overflow should always be hidden. Position, it's going to be the relative position. Okay, save the changes. Currently it looks like this. Okay, inside this, if we already have the video URL, you are not supposed to display click here to apply. We are supposed to display that video. If we don't have that video URL, we need to display that click here to apply and all those things. So for that, what we need to do is we need to create a state to monitor that. So what we can say is use state snippet as video asset. If we have that video asset, then we will do that. So currently it's going to be empty only. Okay, so let's go back there and we will do that setups and all those things. Okay, so let's go there where it is. Just a moment, and go there and file section inside this flex box. If there is no video URL, then only we need to display that click here to apply. Then load this, else load this. Okay, so for the time being here, I'm just going to create a box, close that box. Here I'm just going to display something. Okay, inside here we are going to write all those things. For the time being, it's just displaying this something. Later we'll change it. Okay, so here first we are going to display the form label. Okay, inside this form label, if I save these changes, currently that something text will not be displayed, and box is throwing error. Box, save the changes. nothing will be displayed. Okay, because the video asset is null. If I type something hi, it displays that hi, so it's working. Okay, so inside this form label, instead of displaying hi, we are going to display something different. So make this width as full width, and inside here I'm going to create a flex box, flex, and that flex is going to have few properties like direction. It's going to the column, and okay, direction, column, align items in the center, justify the content in the center, and height, it's going to be full height, width is going to be full width. Okay, inside this I'm going to create one more flex box. Okay, one more flex box. I'm just going to copy this and paste it inside. Okay, same settings only, instead of typing again and again, except that what I'm going to do, I'm just going to add only one more thing, that is nothing but cursor pointer. That's the only thing I'm going to add it inside. Now inside this flex box again, I'm going to display the that IO cloud, that upload here and all those functionalities. So for the time being, I'm just displaying the hi. So now our hi, everything is displayed over here. So cursor, everything is working fine. So now what we need to implement is, so if there is no progress anything, okay, so if I click upload or something, it's need to load. When I click this, it should upload. What I'm trying to say here is, if there is no video to upload, then it should display click here to upload. If there is video is currently uploading, we need to display that progress bar and all those things. So we need to check that loading state, right? So we are going to do that next. Okay, so now what we need to do is, we need to create a one more state to monitor the loading information. Okay, so let's go ahead and create that loading information. So use state snippet loading, set loading. Initially it's going to be false. If it is false, then what we need to do, that's what we are going to do now. Okay, let's go ahead, scroll down to the bottom. Okay, so inside here now what we are going to do, if it is loading, instead of this hi message, if is loading, if it is loading, we need to display a separate component. If it is not loading, we need to display another component, and that is going to be loader fragment, React fragment. Inside here I'm going to, so for the time being, I just keep a React fragment empty, okay, because it will throw an error. For the time being, that is going to be empty if it is loading, because we need to create a loader spinner, what is that loading element, we need to create it by ourselves. Okay, that's a new component we need to create. Okay, so here if it is not loading, I need to display IO upload, IO cloud upload icon. Okay, and then it's going to use the same color code where we created over here. Copy these and paste it here. Don't waste your time writing the same line of code again and again. So I just copied it and pasted it here. Then I'm just going to copy the same text box also, which we already have. Okay, text color we already having in the top, and then let's see how it's looking. This is how it looks. Click here to upload. Okay, then currently if I'm clicking it, nothing is going to happen. We need to do something for that. Okay, so what we need to do is, first one we need to do, we need to fix that spinner element. So let's go ahead and create the spinner component. Right click, spinner.jsx. Okay, so we need to create the spinner.jsx first. Inside the spinner.jsx, what you want to do, we fix and all those things. For the time being, I'm just going to say RAFCE, save these changes, and I'm going to load it in the particular place. Spinner from /spinner/ save the changes, and spinner is not defined. I selected it, right? So if that is loading is, if it is loading is true, if I change this to true, that is going to display the spinner text. Okay, so leave it. Let's fix the spinner element now, then we will do all these setups and all those things. Okay, spinner, first we need to fix the design for the spinner. Let's import all the necessary packages for the spinner. So let me copy and paste the import packages what we are going to use. So go ahead and import all these things. Okay, then spinner is going to take two properties, props, message and progress. Okay, progress, these are the two props it's going to take. Okay, and then I'm going to use the use effect to monitor the props. Okay, so monitor this progress element. Why we are having this is because when the user is uploading, that progress bar need to be uploaded, that it should update the value continuously. That's what we are going to have here. Okay, so I'm going to create a flex box inside here, flex box. Okay, flex box, this is the flex box we are adding. Direction column, justify content center, align item center, height full, padding X, everything is 10. And inside here I'm going to load that spinner, what kind of spinner we are going to have. This is the spinner I'm going to load. Circle, color and height. If you want to learn more about these spinners and all those things, if you search for React loader spinner, React loader spinner, you can find this website. Go there, and if you go through that documentations demo, if you click this demo, you can see the demo, what are the demos they are having. We are using this spinner. Okay, so these are the different spinners they're having. If I save the changes, that should have the spinner in the center. Cool, right? It's looking good. And we need to display the text for our message. If there is any messages coming through, we need to display the text right after this circle. So for the text, I'm creating text font size, text align and the padding effect, and we are rendering that message inside it. So for that, we are next, if there is any progress, so when you're uploading the video, we need to display the progress bar. So that we are using this progress bar. Search for progress. It's having lots and lots of progress styles over here. We are going to use one of the progress bar from here. Okay, so let me copy it. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy the progress for anything from here. So let's say copy this like this, select it and copy it, and then come right after this text box. That means only if the progress, only if there is any progress value is coming, you need to render it. Otherwise you should not render it, because otherwise it will display every time the same progress bar. So we don't need to display this progress bar at every time. Only if there is any value, display it. That's it. Okay, this is what. Okay, so we will, for this value, for the time being here, if I give 50 or something, look at that, what happening. Nothing is happening. Oh, sorry, because there is no progress value, right? Save the changes. Look at that. This is how that progress will looks like. Okay, so let me undo the changes. If there is any progress value, this will be displayed, and instead of this default value, add this value. Whatever the value I'm getting from the progress, parse it to a number and supply it to the value. So when you are uploading these files to the Firebase storage, we can progress the upload status. We will get that upload status and we will pass it to the progress over here that will constantly upload the details. Okay, so that's what this progress bar will do. So we finally finished the spinner. It's successfully done. And so when I'm calling the spinner over here, so where is it? It's loading here. I'll send the messages uploading your video. Along with that, I will send the progress is equals progress. So far we don't have this progress value. We need to create that progress value. So use state, go to the here, use state snippets, progress, set progress is going to be 0. Save the changes and let's go here. So currently it's displaying the set progress value as 0. That is nothing to display, that's why it's displaying like this. Okay, so it will load the progress bar if there is any value on all those things. Cool, right? Default value, if I give 50 something, yeah, see, if you're having any value much bigger than that, it will display that progress bar. So let's say I'll give 5. We'll keep it 5 like this. 1. Yeah, 1 is much better. Instead of displaying anything, 1 is much better. Okay, so this will display, if I constantly update this value, this progress bar will get updated. Cool, right? Then what we need to do, so currently if I click this, nothing is happening. We need to bring that text, whatever we want to do. Okay, so let's go down. Okay, so now when it's loading, let's where it is. Once this loading is done, right after that, this flex box is over. Okay, right above your form label, right above here, if it is not loading, if it is not loading, only we need to display that. If it is not loading, and we need to render this component. So currently our component is loading, so we'll change this to not loading. Where it is, change this to false. Okay, if it is not loading, instead of here, we need to display an input tag to choose a file. Okay, so I'm going to add that. This is a normal HTML input. Okay, not a Chakra UI, normal HTML input tag. Type is going to be a file type, file, and name is going to be upload image. You can use any name. On change, I will call a different function. For the time being, I'm just keeping it as empty. Okay, on change, I will call an empty callback function for the time being. Later we will change. Style is going to be, I don't want to display this input tag, so I'm just going to make the width and height as 0. Width 0 and height is also 0. And it should accept only the videos, only the specific video format. Okay, so I give the copied and pasted video mp4 x m4b and video maximum start all. So these are the things. Let's go here. Now if you click this, it will open the file and you can see the videos over here. Cool, right? Okay, so now what we need to do is now let's see what we need to do, what we have to do. Once we choose that file, we need to get the file details and all those things, right? That's why we have this on change event. So here what you need to do, we need to call that image function, upload image. This function is so far we not yet created. We need to create that function. So go to the top and right after here, const upload image is equals, it throws an event, open it here. Okay, so for the time being, what I'm just going to do, console.log e.target.files of 0. We are going to select only one file. We are not accepting multiple files. We are going to choose only one file. So user will select only one file, so we'll get the first array index of that files. Let's see. Let me open inspect element, console. Button is not defined. Where I think these errors are previous errors. Yeah, those errors are previous errors. Okay, so now if I choose a file and if I select any file, we'll get that file name and all the file details over here. Look at that, we have the type and all those files informations and everything. So we just need to push this informations to the Firestore database. Okay, so let's go here. Okay, so now what I need to do, first I'm going to say set loading as true. Once the user selected, we need to enable the set loading as true. Then const video file, we need to get the video file by the user selected e.target.files of the zeroth index. Okay, now we need to get the storage reference. If you go to the Firebase storage, we have our storage reference over here. Go to the storage. We created a new folder inside the storage called videos. We need to get the storage reference. What is that file name? Videos. Well, the folder name is videos. Okay, this is the folder name we added. So we need to get that storage reference. So const storage reference equals ref. This ref is coming from your Firestore, Firestore storage information. So we need to import that packages first. Just wait a second. And yeah, so what you need to do is, before starting these things, we need to import that. So let me ignore it. Prettier ignore import from Firebase storage. From the Firebase storage, we need quite a very big lots of files we needed. So we need to get the storage, and we need to get the reference, and we need to get the upload byte resumable, that one, because we need to get the how many bytes it gets uploaded, get the download URL, and we need to delete the object. These are the files we needed from the Firestore Firebase file storage. Okay, so then let's come here and we will add the informations whatever we need to add for the reference. So reference, what we need to do is we need to get the first file storage information. To get the file storage information, so what you need to do, you need to write after here or there, wherever you want. So I'll just keep it after here. So const storage is equals get storage. We need the Firebase app. So we need to import the Firebase app also. So let's import the Firebase app. So right after here, import Firebase app. Oh, come on. From Firebase Firebase company. Firebase app. So we need to pass that over here. Firebase app. That will get the Firebase storage access for our database. Then what we need to do is we need to upload this to our storage now. So let's go ahead here and we need to get the storage reference. So where these things are, I'm getting all these things I'm getting it from the Firestore database, from the Firestore collection. So let's search for Firebase storage, and then if you open it here, Firestore cloud storage, web get started, and if you go to the get started over here, they will give you how to get the Firestore storage and initialize your file storage. We already done that. Then how to create a reference. We need to create a reference. If you go to the create reference, how to create a reference, storage reference is equals to reference. That's what we done. and we need to, if you're using ref, we need to pass that storage reference along with that folder name, what you want to upload. Then how uploading the files, how to upload the files and all those informations. Okay, these are the functions over here, so that this is really helpful. This is what we are going to use. Okay, so go through this document, which is really helpful for you to get the, and this how we will get the uploaded progress information. This is what exactly we are going to use. We created this, now we are creating this, then we need to create this upload task, then we will get that exact thing. Let's go back and we'll do that. Where I left, oh god. So now what I need to do is I need to get the upload, we get that storage informations, and next what we need to do, we need to go to this storage reference section. So here I'm passing this storage object and string literals. Our folder name is videos, which is coming from our this name. You go here, you can get that. I think copy it and then paste it here to avoid any mistakes. Videos. Okay, so inside this, whatever the video is getting uploaded, that video should be always unique, right? So $, I'm using the date.now method to get a string date.now. Along with this date.now, I'm just joining our file name, video file. We have that video file, in that we have a name, that file name, whatever the file is getting uploaded, I'm just joining along with that. That's our storage reference. So now the storage reference is created. Then what we need to do, once the storage reference is created, we need to create the upload task. So upload task, that's what here it's mentioned. We need to create the upload task. Okay, so for that we are going to use the upload byte resumable, and then we need to pass the storage reference inside that. We need to pass the video file also inside that. Save the changes. Once it's done, then what you need to do, we need to upload that task. Upload that task. So on upload task, so upload task dot on, when the upload task is on the on, and if there is any state is changed, we need to call a method, and I'm going to pass parameter, and I'm calling a function. Okay, I'm calling a function. So I'm calling a function, and if there is any error is coming, if there is any error is coming, I'm calling another one function, and then I'm just console.log that error. Whatever the error is coming, I'm just console.log that error. Okay, then what we can do is right after here, come on, this is to get the download URL. For the time being, I'm just getting this, I'm just printing console.log download URL. Once the video is uploaded, we'll get the download URL here. So this is where we are, the place where we are going to upload the video. Okay, so inside this function, we need to const upload progress equals, I'm just going to copy this and paste it here. Okay, this is how they are calculating the upload progress and all those things. And let me replace this name because it's small s, so that's why it's showing error over here. Okay, so now that snapshot, and it will fix that, and upload progress will be calculated, and I need to set this progress to our progress value, upload progress value. So this value will get updated, so that our progress bar will get updated in our spinner class, spinner component. Okay, So once everything is uploaded, we will get the download URL. So we need to get that download URL. So to get that download URL, we have the get download URL method. So how to get the download URL? Just like here, over here. So let me copy it and paste it. Copy and paste it. Upload task. This is our upload task. Snapshot. This is our snapshot. And the reference. What we reference, we created. We're getting the download URL, and instead of console log this download URL, I'm going to set that URL to the video asset. Set video asset as the URL. That whatever the URL I'm getting, okay, this is download URL. Sorry, this download URL. Whatever the download URL I'm getting, I'm going to set that download URL, and I'm going to set the loading as false. Okay, set the loading as false. Let's save the changes. If everything is working fine, our video should get uploaded now. Click it. Let's choose this one. Click upload. Nothing is happening. Did we save the file? Yes, we saved the file. Upload. On change, this is getting called. What is happening right now? I don't know. Error, nothing, no error is coming, and file is also not uploaded. What is going on right now? Refresh it, click it, choose a file, click open. Yeah, now our loader is, see here, our values, our progress bar is uploading. Everything is working fine. It's uploading now. Our progress bar perfectly, it's loading. Good. Once it's done, it's printing that something, right? So I think I didn't console log that download URL. That's why. Where it is create. Yeah, I didn't console log that download URL. Okay, so we will console log it now. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, right after here, I'm going to write the use effect method, use effect, and this is to monitor the download. Our video asset, and then I'm just going to say console.log video asset. Initially, it is going to be null, and let's verify whether our video is uploaded or not. Look at that, our video is successfully get uploaded. How cool it is, right? So let me delete this video. You don't need it, delete it. So let's go back here, where it is here, click it. I'll choose any videos from here. Let's choose this rain. It's uploading, loading. It's uploading the video. Our progress bar is working perfectly. Cool. Look at that. So we have our download URL over here. Cool, right? Our video is also get uploaded. See, our video is also get uploaded, and we also got our download URL. So everything is working fine. So now we have our asset URL. If we have this asset URL, what you want to do? That's what we need to define now. Instead of simply displaying like this something, I need to display something else. Okay, I need to display that video asset. I need to use that video asset URL. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to display something. If there is If that is the video asset, then display this text. Okay, so instead of this something, I'm going to bring a flex box. So let me copy that thing and I paste it, that flex box, because it's just a flex box. Again and again, we don't need to type the same thing, right? So that's why flex. So width is going to full, height full, justify content center, align item center, background black, position relative. Inside this, I'm going to create one more flex box. Okay, that's also going to be the same thing to display that icon, delete icon. If the user clicks that delete icon, then you wish to change that delete icon, right? So justify content center, align item center, width 40, height 50, rounded full, background where you want to place it, position absolute, cursor pointer, z index 10. Let me hide it on click delete this. Okay, then right after here we need to load that video. We need to load our video. Let me paste it here. Video source is our video asset. Controls, we need the controls, style and everything, height and width, everything 100%. Save the changes. So now if you have IO trash, it's not important. Save the changes. Now look at that. It's trying to load that video URL because we already have that video asset URL in our video state. So now it's loading that. Now when you click this, we need to delete that video permanently. So now that's what we are going to do, that whatever the video we're having in our hand, we are going to delete it. Okay, so because once the video, even the video is after uploaded, if the user wish to change it, we need to change it, right? That's why we are going to do. So we are going to do that delete image. Okay, so uncheck it, copy this, and we are going to do that delete image also. So right after here, const delete image. Okay, const delete reference is equals reference, the storage which we are having, storage along with the video asset. Delete this video asset. So delete object. This object will take the delete reference, delete that reference. Okay, then this will return a promise. Then open it, set video asset to null. Okay, to null. That's all we need to do. We're just going to set the video asset to the null, so that will be deleted. And after that, if there is, while doing this, if there is any error is coming, just catch that error and display that error. Console.log error. If there is any error is happening, just catch that error and console log that error. Now if I click it, that's cleared and it's loading this. If I go here and if I refresh it, this video should be deleted right now. Look at that. So that video is successfully deleted. So we successfully integrated the video upload action and the delete action. Next, we want to implement the alert message. When we uploaded it, it should display the alert. When we deleted it, it should display the delete alert. That's what we are going to do next. Okay then, so now let's implement the alert. So actually when you're uploading, once the upload is done, we need to display the alert message over here. So if you go here and search for alert, it provides you different alert messages and different functionalities, what alert you want to use, different color scheme. So we are going to use these kind of alert messages from here. Okay, so let's go ahead and implement all these functionalities. Go to your file and we need to create a new component in the components folder called alert message.jsx. Okay, so let's open the alerts.jsx, and inside this alerts.jsx nothing is going, mostly RAFCE created, and we are going to copy that alert message from there. Copy it alert, paste it here, and let's import this alert message alert. And instead of this icon, I'm going to render our own icon, which is coming from there, and this status is also will come from our icon. So I need to reuse this icon alert message however I want it. So if any status is coming from there, okay, if the status is coming from there, okay, if that is status, then display that status, or simply throw the alert as an info message. Okay, and the alert title, instead of this simple message, I'm just going to throw an alert title, and that alert title is going to be our custom message. And these are our properties of the status and this icon and this message as well. Everything is the property of our icon. So we need to import this one also. Okay, so I will send the props, and those props will fill all these details. Status, if there is error, I will send it as error. If I send the status as success, it will send the accept the success. If I don't send any status, it will send the message, it will have the thing as an info. Okay, that's the alert message we have to do. So then what how we are going to implement is, I'm just going to the create.jsx, okay, and I'm going to create a few states to monitor the alert. So let's go to the top, let's import these states, all these states. So use state, okay, we are going to set the alert, set alert. So we should keep it as false. For the time being, I'm just going to keep it as true. Okay, then use state snippet alert status. This is to monitor the alert status. Alert status, initially it's going to be nothing, empty. Then use state alert message, nothing, and use state snippet alert icon. Initially it's going to be nothing. Okay, these are the things. You can see, keep an empty string, or you can keep the null for icon, because anyway it's going to be an icon only. So these are the things we need to have. So the states, everything is created. Okay, so let's go down and we'll implement the alert message first. Okay, so let's go ahead and where it is, we need to implement over here above, right here at the top of everything. If there is alert, only it should be displayed. If there is alert, then display it. Okay, display the alert message, which our component alert message, close it. Okay, this is going to take the status. So I'm not going to send the alert status now. I'm just sending the status as success for the time being. What is the success? And message is going to be equals success for the time being, and icon is equals. Okay, so for once the status is success, what is the icon you want to display? That is the icon. Let's say I want to display a IO check mark. This is the icon I want to display. Okay, so now if I save the changes, this should display the icon. Check mark is not defined. Yeah, I expected. Save the changes, that will display this success message over there. Look at that, the alert message is loaded successfully. And cool is, so this is what the alert message is going to do. But now instead of this success and all those things, we are going to send the real state, that it's going to change alert status. Instead of success message, alert message. Instead of this, I'm going to say alert icon. Okay, these are the things it's going to be displayed over here. and these values are going to be updated where once the image is successfully uploaded. Okay, once the image is successfully uploaded, that's where we are going to display the alert message. Okay, so here it's getting uploaded, and here we are getting the download URL right before the setting state to false, loading state to false. I'm going to set the alert message, set alert message as true, then set alert status as success. Okay, then set alert icon is going to be this icon, and then set alert message is going to be your video is uploaded to our server. Okay, this, and this alert message should be removed automatically. So set timeout. Okay, and for the timeout, let's say 4 seconds. Display this message as 4 seconds, and set alert to false. Okay, say the changes, and this thing should happen even when you are deleting the message also, right? When we are checking for delete also, this thing should happen. So right after here, copy this, and from here and go to the delete message right after this video asset URL, set alert to true. Instead of this is going to be error, and instead of IO check mark, it's going to be IO warning, and your video was removed. Your video was removed from our server, something like that message. Okay, so if everything is working fine, it should display this. Let's verify it. Why we are getting this? It's because we didn't change the status over here, alert status, where it is false. Make this alert status false, so that will not get displayed. And now if I click this, if I choose any video, that will start uploading the progress. It will get uploaded now. Once this gets uploaded, the status alert message will be displayed automatically. Let's see. Uploading. Look at that. We got that alert message with the success, and it's removed successfully. Cool, right? And if I play this video, it's playing fine. Sound, everything is working fine. Cool. Now if I click this, this will remove this message. Your video was removed from our server. Cool. Now if I go there, currently there will be nothing because I deleted it once after uploading it. So we successfully integrated the alert message. So next, what we are going to do, how to implement this nice text editor, which is powered by TinyMCE. That's what we are going to do next. Okay then, so now what we are going to do, we are going to implement this TinyMCE text editor. Actually, this text editor is it's a premium text editor. If you wish to use, they will provide you 30 days free trial. We can use that 30 days free trial for the practicing all these things. After that, you need to pay some amount for them. So let's go ahead and search for TinyMCE. If you search it, you can find the very first one, open it. And you need to create an account over here and just click create account and follow the necessary steps what they're asking you to do and all those things. They will send you a verification link. You need to click and verify your email. So now let me log into my particular account which I already created. So it will create a free trial version. After that, that will be closed. Later, if you wish to use, you need to purchase it and you need to use it. Okay, so let's me open my account. Once you successfully logged in, you need to create an API key for your access integration. You need to create an API. Just follow that the instructions what they are asking you to do. You can create an API key by yourself. It's just very simple to create it. And if I go to the account settings, you can see your complete personal details. And what is the thing, I didn't add any payment method so far. So here, this is the subscription details, currently $0 only. So this will be active for a certain number of time, just for 1 month, I think. So this will be closed after that. If I click this subscription status, you can see that here. So start date, I started February 11 and end date March 11. After that, I can't use this. So if you go here to the dashboard and approve domains, by default it's approved for the local host. If you wish to approve upload your domain list where you want to use all these things, you need to approve that domain name also over here. Okay, that we will do later. Let's go to the dashboard. Okay, this is the API key. So first we need to copy it, go to your environment variables, where it is environment variables, and right after that we need to create our environment variable. Okay, so what is that? Let's say React app tinymc API key is equals single quotes or double quotes, whatever it is, inside it, paste it, save the changes. Okay, so make sure everything is unique and save the changes and close it. So whenever you made some changes for your environment variables, we need to stop our server and we need to restart it. So let's restart our server. It will go, and let's close this thing, and that will reload our server. Still it's loading. Yep, still it's getting loaded. So now it's deprecated. It's starting the development server. Come on, why is it taking so long? It's loaded. Okay, so it's loading. So in the meanwhile, we'll go and click the read the tiny docs, how to implement them, and search for React SDK. If you search for React, and here we go, they give you the integration for React integration. Click it and look at that, how to implement and all those things. We just need to install all these functionalities. So let's go here, create. Okay, looking good. Let's go here. Then we need to add this line. So let's copy this and go to your terminal and add this, import these two packages, install that package, tinymc a tiny react. That will what happen. $sign. That is a $sign. We don't need that $sign. Delete that $sign. So this will import that packages. Then what we need to do, we need to do these setups. We need to create a reference for it. Copy this reference, go here, and I think that's installed. Okay, close it, go to create, and right after here we'll create that reference. Okay, that reference is created. Now we need to create this method to get that value. We need to use this log method. Okay, so instead of using that log method, I'm going to use my own method to get that log value, to get the description value. What is that? Nothing. Just change the name. I'll just copy this content and change the name here. Right after this, delete. Right after here, get the description value, and it will, through that reference, we are using the useref. So make sure that useref hook is imported from the React package. Okay, so this editor reference is going to refer your editor, this editor. We are using this reference. Okay, so this reference, through that reference we are getting the value, whatever the value we're having inside it, we are getting that value. Okay, Then what you need to do, we need to add this line. So copy everything from here to here. This is the thing. From that to that, copy everything, and then go to your, copy it and paste it in our, where we need to paste it. We need to paste that exactly over here and right after this flex box. Paste it, and we need to use this one, imported. This will be imported from there, and on change event, we are going to, whenever there is a changes is happening, we are calling this a method. This is a method which we already created above, get description value. Okay, and then initially it will display this value on initialization, initial value. Initially I don't want to display anything, remove it. And the API key, I need to give the API key equals process.env dot, where is that environment variable? Copy this and give it here. Okay, so that will load our API key over here. Then width, I'm just adding few styles over here. Height, it's 500, leave it as it is. Width 100% should looks 100%. And content CSS, after the content style, I'm going to change the skin color which matches our dark skin UI. So content, it's going to be dark, and skin also oxide dark. If you go through their styles and everything over here, if you go through it completely, you can choose, you can see what are the designs they are having, what are the styles they are having. You can go through it and you can find out all the informations over here itself. So just go through this documentation completely. So now what we have to do, if we save the changes and go to the top, and yeah, I'm console logging it. If everything is working fine, I need to get that content. Let's see. Set description, where it is. Yeah, I didn't have this set description. We didn't create that. So to set the description, use state snippet description is equal to set description. That's going to be an empty string. Copy this and feed it to your set description. Save the changes. Now look at that, it's successfully loaded. It's cool, right? So now let's right click and inspect the elements and go to the console. Now if I'm typing something, sample content, see, we are getting the sample content over here as a paragraph tag. If I make some, if I'm selecting this and I'm making bold, if I'm making anything heading 1, look at that, we're getting the complete HTML information that we can display it inside our we get this every information and we'll store it in our Firestore database. Okay, cool. So we successfully integrated this editor. Now all we have to do, we need to fetch these each and every information and we need to push it to our Firestore database. That's what we are going to do next. Okay, so to monitor that, we already have the title. If there is any change, it should re-render title and location and description and category. If there is any changes happening in all these things, re-render all these re-render this. Okay, so now we have all these respective informations. So now we just need to add an upload button. Okay, so that upload button is going to be right after this editor. I'm going to create a button. Okay, this button is already by default, it's having the is loading status is equals. If it is loading, our loading is true, that button should load. And the loading text, what is the loading text is going to be? Loading text, whenever it's loading, display the text as uploading button text. Color scheme, it's going to be LinkedIn, which matches our color palette, color scheme. And variant, it's going to be whenever it's loading, if it's loading, you should display the skin as outline. Display the outline. If you are not loading, if it is not loading, it should display it as a solid. Okay, solid one. Okay, I made a mistake. These things should be inside here. Okay, then cool. Now it's worked fine. So what is the mistake is, see, this is what you need to do. I'll do it one more time. So dollar, if it is loading, space question mark, you need to display as outline. The style should be outline. Okay, if it is not, the style should be solid. This is what we are trying to do. And width is going to be Excel. And on hover, I'm just going to add some shadow effects equals shadow. It's going to be LG, and font size is going to be 20. On click, I'm going to call a callback function, and that is going to upload all the details. Upload details. This function is not yet created, so we need to create at the top, otherwise it will throw us the error. So right after this get description, const upload details is equals an arrow 6 function. Let's leave it for time being as an empty. So now we have that button but no text. Why there is no text? Inside this button we need to change it. Upload. Initially it should display the upload. When I click this, it will change as uploading and it will have a nice spinner inside it. Okay, so now let's upload this thing. Before getting uploaded, we need to make sure every data is entered or not. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to check that first. Go to the top. Where is the upload method? Over here. And this is going to be asynchronous method, because we are going to save these details to the Firestore, right? So that needs to wait until it gets done. So let's say try set loading as true. Okay, for the time being we'll leave it as it is, and then catch. Try and catch. If there is any error, display that error. Console log dot error. Okay, now if I click it, see the status is just changing, loading, and here its icon is just uploading. It's changing like that. That's for I wanted to show you. That's it. Okay, so now just refresh it. We don't want to have that. So set the loading true. Then if this, I need to check a condition. If not title, it doesn't have a title, and not category, and mainly video asset. If it is not having any of this, we need to display the alert message, which we are already having written at the top. The same thing, just change this text as required fields are missing. Okay, else if it is not, we are just going to do that particular action. What do you want to do? If it is not, I'm just going to create a data. Const data is equals, open it, id, video id is going to be $date.now method, comma, title is going to be title, comma, user id. So who's uploading that user id? So we need to get that user information, right? So what I'm going to do is, right after here, I'm going to fetch that user information. User info we need to fetch that user info. Where it is? 1 second. Just give me a second. Okay, so user info from fetch user. So actually we did this somewhere, right? Where we did, I think in the home or login or app. Yeah, this is the copy this and paste it here. Paste it and import it, fetch user. So now this will have that user information. We need to supply that user information to our ID. Where it is? Here. User ID is going to be UserInfo dot that particular UID. It has the user ID, so UID, UserInfo dot UID. Then category is going to be category, what kind of category it is. Location, it's going to be the same, location colon location. Then video URL, it's going to be video asset. Then description, it's going to be description. This is our data object. So I need to send this data object to our Firestore DB. Okay, so right after here, I'm calling a method await set doc from the Firestore and doc also Firestore DB. We don't have that Firestore DB, right? So where is that login? We need to call that Firestore DB. So this is that Firestore DB. Copy it and we need to give it to that. Copy this and go to your create, and where we are creating our Firebase app, somewhere we created the storage. So right after here, paste it, get the Firestore and Firebase app. So now we have that Firestore DB. We need to supply that Firestore DB over here inside the doc element. So let's supply that Firestore DB, Firestore DB. Then where we are going to upload, we are going to upload it in the videos collection, and it should create the document by using the unique date dot that time string. We are going to send that time string, and after that, once it's done, I'm going to set the loading as false. Then we'll navigate the we need to create the const navigate also. So right after here, const navigate is equals use navigate. Use navigate, that will navigate the user to the different locations. So navigate, send the user to here and replace the URL. Save the changes. Let's see whether is there any error or not. Nope. Now let's give some title. Our first video, Mother Nature. Choose the category, nature, location, the heart. Upload the video. Rain. It's uploading. Let's give some title. Mother Nature is always beautiful. We'll make it bold, italic, paragraph, heading. This is our first video trying to save in Firestore. Okay, so this is enough, I think so. So video is uploaded now. And now if I click upload, I think we are getting some error. That's why nothing is happening. Yep, we are getting some error. Set doc is called with invalid data. Data must be an object, but it was undefined. It's showing an undefined object. Why? Oh God, my bad. We didn't even supply the data. That's the problem. We defined the collection, but we didn't supply the data with the data which we created. That's my bad. Literally my bad. I'm sorry. Refresh it. We need to do it again. So that video will be already uploaded. Oh God. So delete that video. Delete it. Delete it. Go to the Firestore database. I think that video's collection is already created with the empty data. I think so. No, it's not created. Cool. So now let's do that same thing. Mother nature. I'll keep this down. Doha. Upload a video. Rain. Mother nature. Make it bold, italic, heading 1. This is our first video. FIRST, first. Okay, so still it's uploading. It's uploading. Okay, now the button is changed because video is uploaded and it's ready. Now if I click upload, it should look at that. So data is uploaded and it's navigated to the home screen. If I go here and if I refresh this page, now we should see the video collection with our first video. Video collection is here and our video is here. Cool, right? So we successfully saved our video in the Firestore storage and Firestore database. And now all we have to focus on this feed page. That's what we are going to do next. So this is all for the part 1, guys. So stay tuned for the part 2. In the part 2, we are going to do all the main functionalities just like here. So what we are doing here, if I open it, so we are loading this video pins over here. If I click it, it will open this complete video pin over here and all these video functionalities. If I click this, it will place that video. See, it's playing that video and you can move 10 seconds forward and 10 seconds backward, and I can increase the audio and I can decrease the audio. If it is mute, it will be muted. Okay, so this is what we are going to, and I can seek through different locations, seek through different audio timings, and if I expand it full screen, it will be loaded in the full screen. So this is what we are going to create in the next part. So stay tuned and wait for the next part.